All right, we are live, guys. I am aware there are some technical issues. Unfortunately, you can run as many tests as you want, but of course, when the time comes, that's when there's issues. So we are monitoring it. Do not worry. We will try our absolute best. We do know that there are some frame rate issues at the moment. For those that are thought that I was doing an AI video, no, that was simply just the trailer. If you guys saw the trailer that we rolled a few days before we went live. And yeah, with that being said, guys, let me know. Give me out of a 10. How are you guys feeling? Let me know in the chat. I am a 10 out of 10. I'm hoping that we can get some of these frame rate issues sorted. And then sound is clear. That is good to see. Good to see. Good to see. Let's see. 6, 10, 10, 10, 10. Let's see, let me bring this a little closer. 10, feeling actually 10, 10. 2, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Mix Alakios. Sorry to hear that. Guys, just let me know in terms of audio. Are we good to go? I know that there's some frame rate issues at the moment. So as I said, hopefully once we pull up the presentation, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Audio good. Let me know on the visuals. I'm assuming it's a little bit of a glitch, but as I said, we'll try to troubleshoot it as time goes on. Audio good audio. Yes, all good. Sound is clear, 1010. Yes, audio is good. Audio is good. Quality is glitching. Video not so good. Video slowed, slight delay. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, guys, as I said, I'll keep an eye out on it. Frame rate drop, don't worry. Audio is good, video is not fine. So, okay, cool. As I said, guys, we'll keep keep monitoring it as time goes on. Good news is audio is solid. So with that being said, yeah, it's just frame rate issues. We got multiple softwares working at the same time. So as I said, we'll try our best. So with that being said, Tristan, if you can pull up the presentation, and hopefully once the presentation goes on, it should be a little bit better. All right, cool. All right, with that being said, you can see my screen. All good to go, guys? Yes, 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 yes. Let me know. All right, well, welcome to the AI Income Workshop. Let me just see if all is good. Tristan, we still having issues with the frame rate on video? Yeah, okay, no worries. All right, lovely, lovely. So we're not going to do split screen.
It's just, do you want me to remove the split screen?
No, you know, with the prep, you know, we were doing it before.
Yeah.
So are we doing lower third or
yeah.
split? We're doing lower third. All right, cool. No worries, guys. As I said, we will monitor it. If things go well, we'll try to bring it up to split screen. Basically, just so you guys understand, we're running it through another software now, as in the actual visuals, because we were meant to do split screen for today's presentation. So yeah, we'll keep you updated on how things go. All right, cool. All right, well, anyways, with all that being said, as I said, I want to give you a warm welcome to the AI Income Workshop. Guys, can you just drop in the chat if you've ever come to a free training or a workshop and you left as if maybe you didn't get the experience you wanted, or you felt like you got your time wasted, or you kind of felt like you left empty-handed? Let me know in the chat if you guys have ever experienced that. As I said, if you've had like high hopes for a presentation or a workshop or anything along those lines, and you know, you just didn't really get the experience you wanted. Yes, sure, 100%. Way too relatable. Yes, unfortunately. All right, well, yeah, guys, look, I understand it. And I basically just wanted to address that head on before we went into today's presentation, okay? Because if you've been to one of those events in the past, or maybe even one of my own, this is going to be very, very different. First of all, we are going to cover a lot. Even for me, this is going to be the most technical event I have ever hosted. It's going to be step by step, and it's going to be in detail. In fact, you should have gotten some insane free resources already with a 2026 plan of attack that you got when you registered for the workshop. Inside of it, I shared my freedom framework, a personal time audit exercise, a goal prioritization cheat sheet, my reverse engineering blueprint that turns impossible goals into inevitable goals, and finally the 2026 plan of attack calendar. Can you guys just let me know in the chat if you guys have gotten those, if you guys have gone through those, if you guys have enjoyed those free resources? Let me know, because I got plenty more. But I just wanted to send those as a quick little teaser of some of the free value that you're going to get before the challenge even starts. Yes. Some no's. Once again, if you didn't get that, that's because you haven't signed up. So I think there is a link down below. If you do want those free resources, or my team will drop in the chat, I think there's a link you can in fact, go straight to WhatsApp and ask for the free resource, and it will literally send a message to you. So yeah, from today onwards, we also have full-blown workbooks for each session. This isn't like some 3-page bullshit, okay? It is a 30-page step-by-step plug-and-play workbook. Let me give you a little sneak peek of what you get in today's workbook at the end of our session. For example, I added a 90-day action plan with daily and weekly actions to apply the 4-step method that I'm going to share today. You get a progress tracker for the strategy. I've also added a list of 200 plus industries you can apply this strategy to, or anytime there's any sort of calculations or mental arithmetics. I really just want to make it as easy as humanly possible for you. So I literally built a full calculator for you to use, okay? And this is just day one. There are 4 more workbooks throughout this week. Guys, I know the frame rate is still struggling at the moment, but this is what some of these workbooks look like. So you're going to get all 5 of these workbooks. These are all pages and pages, and this is basically my free gift to you, okay? So the entire premise of this event is basically, I know that for 99% of you guys, you are just going to want to do it yourself, okay? And there's going to be 1% of you guys that want it done for you. So with all that being said, all right, you don't need to do it now, okay? Just understand that to get access to those, you have to be inside the groups. And somewhere throughout this presentation, I'm going to give you guys the password. Okay, so these workbooks are password protected. So at the end of the presentation, once we're done with everything, okay, once we're done with the presentation, the Q&As, stuff like that, at the end of the presentation, you guys are going to get the password, okay? And each day we're going to do that as the daily sessions go on. If you are here live, we are going to give you access to all this, okay? So when I share the password later, I'm also going to send you the link to join the WhatsApp group in case you haven't yet. So I know a lot of you guys really want all of this workbook stuff, all right? You want all these, but please do not worry, okay? Focus on today's presentation, because today's presentation, okay, none of this stuff is going to make sense unless you actually focus and you give your full undivided attention to today's presentation, all right? So I will send you guys all that later. All right, so with all that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and over deliver in value. Let me know, guys, is that okay with you? Let me know in the chat, is that good with you if I over deliver in value? And my promise is to you is that by the end, I will show you how to do this whole process yourself. That is the promise I've made, and I will stick to that promise. Now, for 99% of you guys, you will want to do it yourself, okay? Just like 99% of people in life, when they will want to go for the general ticket at an amusement park, but there's 1% that will want the fast track. In our case here, it is a done for you solution. So if you're like, you know what, all of this looks super great, but it's a little complicated and it's a little bit too much time, so I would just rather take the fast track. Okay, that's why at the end, once I fulfill my promise, okay, if it's all right with you, and once I've helped the 99%, for the 1% that's left, I have something that I would like to present to you. Okay, does that sound fair enough to you once I fulfill my promise to the 99%? All right, so with that being said, let's get into it. Over the last few months, I made one of the most significant discoveries of my career. I uncovered one specific approach that today I consider to be the easiest way to create an online income, because this is the only approach that lets you combine the power of AI with an untapped market that was previously inaccessible to beginners. One that doesn't require you to quit your current occupation or burn through all of your savings just to give it a try. In fact, it allows you to start risk-free, work part-time, scale up to big numbers with next to no upfront costs, and see quick results. All of that without having to show your face online, without having any previous business experience, or even having your own product. And by the way, guys, this is something I used to do back in the day, or it was kind of like a cousin to this, okay? It wasn't the exact same thing, but it was a slight different variation of this. But I'll be honest, it was something that for a long time I thought was impossible for most people to get into unless you were an expert like I am. It used to be it used to be a high skill, high profit business. But with the recent developments in AI over the last year, it's become a high profit, low skill business, which is really the best thing that you can have, because it means it is now possible for some beginners to get into this for the first time ever. This way, you can dip your toes in the water virtually without risk and get into this new type of business before the big waves comes in. And I personally believe this is the simplest and most straightforward way to build an online income in 2026. And here is why. Right now, there's something quirky happening on the internet. There are more and more people ever who control massive, responsive audiences, and they have no idea how to make money with them. They have done the hard part, 99% of the work that could turn into profit, but they need someone to help them with the 1%, okay? Until that happens, they make $0. After that happens, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, of which you could take 30%. Okay. Now, I want to be very realistic. I've spoken to people. I was on the phone 2 weeks ago. I was on the phone to someone who literally does this. Okay. They've been doing this for years and years. And it's opposite way around. They take 80% and the other person takes 20. Okay. And most sort of arrangements like this, most partnerships, it's 50-50. Now, the reason I'm saying 30% is because as you start in this journey, you might only take 30%. Okay. And that's fine, okay? Because you're getting your first partnerships through the door. You're dipping your toes in this model, and as time goes on, that percentage will go bigger and bigger. One thing I just want you guys to know during basically the next our 5 days of the workshop, and let me know if that's okay with you guys. I'm just gonna keep it no bullshit, okay? I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat things. I'm not gonna try to make things seem easier than they are, because the truth is, whenever you do it yourself, time and effort is associated to it. Now, of course, there's things that you can do. As I said, for the 1% of people, they will want it done for them. But for the 99% of people that go the do-it-yourself route and the manual route, I'm going to give you all the playbooks. I'm going to show you literally everything to do. But it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work, okay? So with all that being said, this is a process, okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. And even when it comes to percentages, I actually was speaking to someone and they wanted to do something like this where it was 70-30 our way, okay? So they kept 30%, and this is a super, super, super well-known person. They kept 30% and we kept 70%. But that takes time, okay? As you get more and more advanced, you can command these sort of percentages, but I wanna keep it realistic throughout this presentation, which I hope you guys appreciate, that I'm not just gonna come in and use unrealistic numbers with you guys, okay? The reason this opportunity exists right now is that you only need to get this right once to make this work. And that is going to be our theme for this workshop, this whole idea of one. We're going to do it all from the perspective of the rule of one. The rule of one states that if you do one thing, just one thing well, you will be way better off than trying to do 10 things at once. In this online industry, people fail not because they lack options, but because they actually have too many. And then they try them all at the same time. So I want to go the opposite end of the spectrum with this workshop. My objective today is not show you a bunch of different ways to create a side hustle or a full-time business. No. I have one goal for this workshop: to show you one strategy, to give you one action plan that has one objective, okay? To show you how to get one single partnership that can pay you 5,000, 10,000, even 50,000 beyond, okay? As a one-person business. This is the exact approach that you'll have laid out in front of you today by the end of the first of our 5 sessions of the AI Income Workshop. Now, look, generally day one is more about the opportunity and less about the step-by-step, but this is so straightforward that we're just gonna dive straight into the step-by-step today already. So here's how we're gonna do this together. I have a great presentation here that I prepared for the last 5 weeks that should go on for about an hour and a half. Again, there's gonna be a lot of step-by-step technical training. And since this is a workshop, it means that you need to work, okay? Just sitting here and watching what I show you is not enough. You need to put it into practice. So that is the very first agreement that we need to have here. Do you commit to taking action on all the tasks that I show you today, even if they're a bit hard at first and might require a few weeks of hard work, okay? Let me know in the chat, are you okay with that? Perfect. If that's the case, well, for all the tasks and all the step-by-step content, as I said, you're going to find them in today's workbook. In fact, for any part where I think you might get stuck with numbers or anything, I've built extra tools and extra resources to make sure that not a single person gets left behind. Every session will have its own workbook with all the details that you need. You can download them inside the WhatsApp group, protected with a password. As I said, you don't need to worry about this. I'm going to share all this stuff at the end of the session. So for now, and once again, everything that is in the workbook won't mean anything, okay? It'll have literally zero value unless you focus throughout the presentation, okay? You can only get it if you are here live with us today. Now, at the end, I've also brought on a special co-host, Jason Fladlin. He applies this exact strategy that I'm going to share with you today, and he's probably the best in the world at it, okay? Over his career, he's generated over 100 million with this strategy, including 57 million just from one single partnership. He is going to be tracking your questions during the session. After the main presentation, we're going to hang out in a more informal Q&A to answer all these questions and make sure you have everything you need to kill it over the next few days of the workshop. But you need to be there live to join us for the Q&A because it gets cut after the live session ends. Then starting today, we're also going to start bringing in some special extra guest speakers, all of whom have made lots of money with this exact same strategy. And they're going to share some of their secrets. Okay, they're going to come on stage right after the Q&A, so that way you'll be able to be. You'll need to be here live in order to see that. Now, let me be completely transparent about why I'm hosting this workshop for free and why I'm so convinced that this is the best beginner business model for 2026. You see, I've made over 100 million in online sales across every business model under the sun: services, affiliate marketing, physical products, high ticket, software, AI, you name it. Okay. But by far, the business that made me the most money was digital products. And because of that success, I invested a large part of my net worth by writing a massive check to become a co-owner of WAP, the fastest growing digital product platform in the world. Our users have earned over $2 billion from their digital products. Right now, people are making about $200 million a month on our platform, with over $1 billion in the last 6 months alone. That is $166 million a month averaged in the last 6 months, 5.48 million a day, 228,000 an hour. Okay. Or if you want to think about it this way, if you earned $100,000 per year, it would take you about 20,000 years to earn 2 billion. That is twice as long as all of recorded human civilization. That is how much our users have earned with their digital products. And as a co-owner of WAP, I have back-end access to the payment processing of tens of thousands of verified individuals earning money from digital products right now. So I can see everything, okay? I can see exactly who's succeeding, how much they're making, and what they are doing differently. Now, here's what I've noticed with all this data. There is a massive opportunity that almost no one is talking about. You see, right now, there are millions of what we call these micro creators, people with 10,000 to 100,000 followers on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok who have built engaged and responsive audiences, but they're making nothing from them. Maybe a few $100s here and there from sponsorship posts, okay? Meanwhile, they're sitting on gold mines. Their audiences trust them. They follow them daily and they want to learn from them. But these creators have no idea how to turn that demand into real money. They don't know how to create products. They don't know how to launch, okay? They don't know how to monetize properly. They have done 99% of the hard work building the audience. Now they just need someone to help them with the final 1%, turning it into profit. And because of the recent advancements in AI, you can now be that person. You can help them create a digital product based on their existing content and monetize their audiences with this digital product, okay? And you can do all of that without needing to be an expert yourself, without showing your face, or without having your own product. So guys, let's address the elephant in the room here, okay? I understand what you're thinking. If you're so rich, if you've made over 9 figures from this industry, if you're a co-owner in a multi-billion-dollar company, why are you doing this, okay? We all know that people don't do things out of the goodness of their own heart, okay? I consider myself a very kind person, but in all honesty, I spend months and months, okay? You know, the whole prep, the presentations, everything that's gone into this, I've spent months, okay, putting together all these free resources for you. And everyone's got a reason, okay? So let me just go ahead and lay my cards on the table and just be 100% honest and transparent with you. I have 3 reasons why I'm doing this for you today. Reason number 1, as I said, I am co-owner of WAP. I have the largest part of my net worth tied up in WAP, as most very wealthy people have their net worth tied up in their main company. And my goal is to build WAP to be a $100 billion company. And astonishingly, we are getting there. We're on pace to do it, but I would like to do it even quicker. Our model works off of performance. So the more you guys make, we take a very tiny percentage of that, similar to how private banks work. The richer their clients get, the richer they get as a bank. Reason number 2, another one of my most recent acquisitions is a 9-figure consulting firm called consultant.com, which was previously owned by Sam Ovens and Rian Doris. And this is my day job, okay? The company was established in 2016, but I purchased it last year, and we have become the #1 consulting firm in the world for knowledge and digital product businesses. Our pricing for enterprise clients starts at $25,000. So if even just 0.1% of you guys succeed with this today and become an enterprise client of ours at consultant.com, that's an extra $25 million in revenue for the business. Reason number three, as I said, 99% of you guys will take everything I'm saying here today, take all of the little 100 pages of workbooks, the tools, all the training, and go, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. But there is 1% of you guys that will want it done for you. So if you take the do-it-yourself way, you have to execute everything manually. You're going to learn how to take advantage of this, but you're going to have to put in the hours and hours of manual labor in order to accomplish it. It works. People make money with it. But of course, it requires time, effort, and a lot of manual labor. Way number two is the done for you way, okay? Where you get all the specialized AI tools and the softwares that automate 90% of the execution. And in fact, even my own team manually executing a part of the process for you. So instead of spending 100 hours per partnership, you could be spending less than 5 hours. This is what I will offer you at the end of today's session, because I am so convinced that by the end of today, you will see everything you need to make a decision. You will understand the complete strategy, and you will understand exactly how it works. And for those of you guys who want to move fast, who want the done for you option, I'm going to have some special bonuses for people who sign up before the end of today's session. But regardless of whether you join or not, you are going to get the complete system today, step by step. The manual way, everything you need to execute your first 10, 20, or even $50,000 deal. So if you can commit to this one method and resist all of the endless options shoved in your face online, you will never need to watch another Make Money Online video again. Does that sound fair enough? Let me know. I'm going to check the chat. I'm going to have a little swig of water, and we shall go from there. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me know if that sounds good to you guys. Yes, 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 yes. All right, beautiful. Guys, just let me know on the audio and the visuals. I know visuals, I'm assuming, is still a little shaky. Audio, I think, is all good. Let me know on the visuals how it's looking. Potentially, we might have to, I'll ask Tristan in just a second. We might have to turn off visuals just for today. We'll get it sorted for tomorrow, guys. We've done so many live streams, and this is the first time ever. So as I said, I'll just ask Tristan in a second. Visuals are mid and audio all good. Video is great now. Okay, audio is good. Someone says you talk too fast. I apologize. I have a lot to get through. I'll try my best. It's a combination of I have a lot to get through, and I'm actually very, very excited. I hope that comes through. Audio okay, bit rate not. Quality nice, but video is choppy. Yeah, guys, we will assess the situation. As I said, I'll have a chat with Tristan shortly, and we'll see best route to go. All right, well, getting back to it, let's go ahead and dive into it. I have something to confess here. This strategy I'm showing you today allows you to tap into audiences, that allows you to tap into audiences of tens of thousands, is actually nothing new in other industries. I'm sure you guys are all sat here today and you're going, he's going to show us something that's never been done before. We're the first person on earth to ever do this. No, this is actually very common. And actually that should put you at ease, because it should show you people make so much money with this in other industries. We're just taking something that works in another industry. We're using the power of AI to basically enable it to work in our industry, okay? And we're applying it to one specific market. As I said, some of the most successful people in the world have been using this exact model for decades. It's just that none of them talk about it. Why? Because the people making money with it stay in the shadows. I'm gonna pull back the curtain and show you exactly how this works across multiple industries. Real quick, Tristan, what do you think? Should we keep video on or should we turn it off?
We can try another reset.
Yep.
Just turns the video feed off, but the audio keeps going.
Cool. We'll leave it up to you guys. So, guys, let me know if you guys ever had this in the chat. Like, have you guys ever prepared and practiced and done something like for so long and it's always works flawlessly, and then on the day there's like one small tiny little hiccup and you're like, of course on the day this is gonna happen. So we've literally run through this dozens and dozens of times. So apologies, but yeah, hopefully this should just show you. One of the issues when you are presenting to, I can see right here, last when I checked, it was 87,000 people live. So yeah, that's one of the downsides. I appreciate you guys showing up today and giving me your undivided attention. We just literally have the largest football stadium you could imagine watching this concurrently. So yeah, we'll assess the situation as time goes on. So with all that being said, that should actually put you at ease, okay? That you understand that this isn't some like new internet thing that I just made up, okay? This is a proven business model that's created billions of dollars across entertainment, sports, publishing, and more. Let me show you. Think about the music industry for a second, okay? When you go to a concert and see someone like Drake or Taylor Swift performing in front of 50,000 people, who do you think is making more money from that show? Is it the artist on stage, or the person that you've never heard of, the manager, the agent, the promoter who operates completely in the shadows? Well, let me tell you about a guy called Scooter Braun. You've probably never heard of his name, but you've definitely heard of his clients. Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato. Scooter doesn't perform. He doesn't sing. He doesn't need to be an influencer to make money, okay? But every time Justin Bieber's song plays on the radio, Scooter gets paid. Every time Ariana Grande sells out a stadium, Scooter gets paid. Every time a brand pays Demi Lovato for an endorsement, well, Scooter gets paid. He tapped into their audience. He operates behind the scenes, and he's worth a cool $400 million, okay? Now, 99.9% of people who listen to Justin Bieber don't even know that Scooter exists, but he is laughing all the way to the bank. Or let's look at sports. When LeBron James signs a $154 million contract with the Lakers, who negotiated that deal? When he signed a $1 billion lifetime deal with Nike, who structured that? Rich Paul, his agent. LeBron has the audience. He has the millions of fans who buy jerseys and watch games. But Rich Paul, he's operating in the shadows. He's extracting massive value from that audience without ever playing a single game. He takes 3 to 4% of every deal, sometimes more. That is millions of dollars a year for being the operator, not the talent, not the face, but the operator, okay? And here's the beautiful part. LeBron needs Rich Paul because LeBron, he's great at basketball, but he doesn't want to negotiate contracts. He doesn't want to manage sponsorships. He doesn't want to handle legal paperwork or deal with endorsement offers. That is not what he's good at, and that is not what he wants to do. So he pays someone else, handsomely by the way, to operate that part of his business. And that is the case with every single industry out there. There are always a few specific parts of the business that the person with the audience doesn't want to deal with, okay? And that is actually where the opportunity lives. Let's take the publishing world. You know, I'm sure you guys all know J.K. Rowling, okay? She wrote Harry Potter. But do you know who Christopher Little is? He is the agent who took Harry Potter from a rejected manuscript to a multi-billion-dollar global franchise. Every book sold, every movie deal, every theme park attraction, and every piece of merchandise. Christopher Little got a cut of all of it, okay? Not because he wrote the books, but because he operated the business side while J.K. Rowling focused on writing. He tapped into her audience of millions of readers worldwide and operated completely in the shadows. Most Harry Potter fans have no idea who he is, but he became incredibly wealthy from that single partnership. Are you starting to understand, and are you starting to see the pattern here, okay? In every industry where an audience exists, there's always someone who's operating in the shadows, someone who doesn't need to be the talent, someone who doesn't need to show their face, someone who doesn't need millions of followers, but still makes massive money by operating, okay? This is not new. This is not some internet hack. This is what smart money has been doing for over 100 years now. The only difference is it used to be limited to elite industries like entertainment and sports, but now, thanks to the internet and social media, there are millions of creators who with engaged audiences who need operators, okay? People like fitness coaches, business consultants, language teachers, parenting experts, relationship advisors, financial educators. The list goes on and on and on, okay? And virtually zero people are filling that operator role at scale. And because of AI, this is now something that everyone can get into, and I'm gonna show you how to do this in just a second. So, here is where you come in, okay? Instead of spending years trying to build your own audience from scratch, okay? Instead of trying to become the next big influencer, instead of trying to do some TikTok dances and be a dancing monkey online and create content and all this stuff, okay? Instead of posting every single day, hoping that people notice you, you do what the smart money has done for decades. Instead, you partner with someone who already has the audience, okay? But instead of the music industry, the sport industry, or publishing, you do it with digital products. Now, you might be asking, why digital products? Because that is the only type of product that you create once and you can sell it thousands of times. That's because the work to fulfill one customer or 10,000 customers is virtually the same. And I have personally sold the same digital product over 1,000 times in a single day, dozens of times. And once the product is created, that product doesn't stop paying you. It can keep paying dividends for years to come. For example, on WAP, we have this one guy making $8,000 a month teaching people how to create Fortnite maps. But If you take a look at his profile, he's made $78,000 in lifetime earnings, meaning this digital product that he created once has been paying him for months and months. Plus, this way, the creator you partner with gets to stay in their zone of genius. That's what they love doing. They want to be the person on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. They like creating content. They like being on camera. They like engaging with their audience. And you handle what they don't want to do, okay? They don't want to handle the operations. They don't want to handle that side of things, okay? And as a result, you get paid a percentage of the profits. No upfront costs, no risk, no need to show your face. That is exactly what WAP users like Zach do. This is his WAP profile. And you can see he's made $14,000 in just the last 24 hours and $112,000 lifetime earnings. How? By partnering with creators who talk about how exotic cars and launching a digital product on how to run your own exotic car rental fleet, okay? And I actually used to run a very similar operation myself. I would partner with creators, help them launch a digital product, and get a slice of the profits. One of the first creators that I partnered with was a company called AJ and Smart. They actually teach people about design sprints. That was back when they only had a few thousand subscribers. I helped them launch their first digital product. Okay. And this is actually me and them in their offices in Berlin. I was 18 at the time back then, right? So Jonathan, absolute legend. Now they're one of the biggest names in the space with 400,000 subscribers. Now, funnily enough, I've always been, I'm going to keep it 100% real and honest with you guys. I've always been very vocal against this model in the past. And there was a very specific reason for it. Okay. Even up until like a year and a half ago, I told people, do not do this. I said, it's very profitable. You'll make a lot of money. It's very profitable, but it's simply not feasible. It's simply not possible for beginners, okay? Because it was a very high profit endeavor, but it was high skill-based as well. I'm sure you guys know something has happened in the last year and a half. There's certain tools, there's certain softwares that have come out, okay? There's certain things that have changed that now all of a sudden mean that anyone can do this, okay? I'm sure you guys have seen the recent advancements in AI. You can now take care of this entire operation yourself, something that used to take a full team of people just a few months ago, okay? A few years ago. And this is why this has become the ultimate one-person business. What we are doing here is creating digital products for creators. This is the exact best use case for AI. I mean, think about it. What is easier to leverage AI for? Building an audience, connection, and impact. Okay, that's hard for AI to do. And that is what creators do so well, okay? But taking their content and packaging that into a digital product, that is the exact type of task that AI thrives at. So if I show you guys a way to implement this all by yourself, so that way you can start creating an online income, even if you're working a full-time job right now, is that something that you guys would be interested in? Let me know in the chat, and I will see how you guys are faring. Let's see where we're at. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Well, you guys seem to enjoy it. Yes, 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 yes. Do-do-do. Beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. You guys seem happy enough, so I'll continue. All right, perfect. All right, so with all that being said, there is one practically effortless way to do this, okay? Now, before we get into that, let me clarify something. When I say creators, you're probably thinking of creators with millions and millions of followers, okay? These are not the creators I speak of. I'm talking about small creators, fitness coaches, language teachers, business consultants, photographers, gardening specialists, okay? People with knowledge about a very specific topic and with a passionate followers who already know, like, and trust them. These are the type of creators you should look for that can make serious money, okay? These are called micro creators. Creators with anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 followers that talk about a very specific topic. I'm gonna be super honest, transparent, no bullshit, and just keep it 100% real with you guys. If you reach out to macro creators, large creators, you will get ignored, okay? Like, how many times have you ever come to a workshop where someone is like, no, if you do it this way, you will actually fail. Like, I'm just going to keep it honest with you. The only way this is possible now, as time goes on, okay, as you grow in this endeavor, okay, and as you stick to this model after year 2, 3, 4, 5, you can go to the largest creators in the world and you can be taking crazy splits, crazy cuts. You know, I was speaking to someone, I think I mentioned earlier, I was speaking to an individual that does this, works with one creator and makes almost $10 million a year. And by the way, what's really cool about being a co-owner in WAP is I know everyone's numbers, I know everyone's data, so I can validate that this is true. So like, I actually know that this is true. From one single partnership, He makes almost $10 million a year. I actually sent a message earlier today to an individual, 21 years old, making $200,000 a month with this exact same model. Okay. So that's not, not what they were doing when they first started out. Okay. When they first started out, they went from micro creators. Okay. If you go for macro creators, I'm going to be honest with you, this model isn't going to work. Okay. This training isn't going to work. This methodology isn't going to work. So instead, you have to focus on micro creators. Now, what actually is a micro creator? Okay. And by the way, just so you guys understand, another example of a person that did this, Zach. Okay. He partnered with a creator. This creator only had 17,000 followers, but that was enough to make Zach six figures. Or Andrew, who made $15,000 in the last 24 hours and over $57,000 on the niche topic of sober living homes. Okay. He has 39,000 followers on his Instagram. He's the sort of creator that I am referring to, okay? Now, again, all these examples are creators who are already monetizing their audiences with a digital product, which is about 1% of all micro creators, okay? As I said, 99% of creators, they could be making as much money as the ones I just showed you, but they're missing out, okay? The thing that they're missing is someone like you to help them put a digital product in place. In the grand scheme of things, micro creators like this are merely a drop in the ocean. According to data from Linktree, there are 41 million of these sort of creators, okay? And most of them don't even know that they are sitting on a gold mine, and you just need one, all right? If you could just get one of them to say yes to you, you could easily launch a digital product to their already existing audience and get a slice of that profit pie. A slice as big as $20,000 for a small creator paid out directly from WAP to your bank account. And you could continue to get paid for as long as the creator keeps promoting this product to their audience. I know creators making $30,000 a month from as few as 5,000 followers. And at a 30% revenue split, which is not uncommon with this strategy, you'd be getting paid $9,000 a month without having to put in any additional work, without you having to grow an audience from scratch or show your face online, just by tapping into the audience that the creator already has. Someone who does this is what I call a AI shadow operator. Now, you might be wondering, what do they actually do? In raw words, they are the operators behind other people's public image, okay? Taking micro creators and simply creating digital products for them to sell to their audience. And they do all of that using AI. The creator's face is on the product while the shadow operator stays entirely in the shadows, okay, without any pressure on their shoulders to have their name and reputation attached to the product being sold. If you scroll through WAP, you're going to find hundreds of these shadow operators who don't even have a profile picture, but are making tens of thousands of dollars behind the scenes, just like Zach and Kevin here. And as I said, most of these creators had no products to sell, despite their followers literally begging to buy something from them. This is a rare case of a market with high demand, but zero supply. Think about it. Every other business has to compete for customers. Here, customers, okay, their followers are begging to buy and no one is selling. Now, what do you think happens when you enter a market like that and simply give people what they desperately want already? You make a shit ton of money. Excuse my French. Now, to test this out, I shared a 4-step shadow operating strategy with a small group of clients inside of Monetize. They would have one conversation, just one, and walk away with instant access to 20, 50, or even 100,000 engaged buyers. Then they would use AI to create a very simple digital product for these creators and keep 30% of the total revenue that it generated. 9,000, 15,000, 20,000, even more from a single product with someone else's name and face on it. The creators stayed in the spotlight while our users and our clients stayed in the shadows. Both got rich. We call this the shadow operator method. And once you understand how it works, you will never look at online business the same way again, because while everyone else is fighting for customers, these shadow operators are quietly banking more than the big influencers that everyone is watching. In fact, there's a large chance that your favorite creators who you know are making lots of money have a shadow operator. You just simply never knew about it. It is very rare for a creator to make money without a shadow operator. Just like an athlete, movie star, or musician is very likely to not have an agent. So, do you want me to break down to you the 4-step method on how to close your first creator partnership and launch a product to their audience with the potential to make multiple 5 figures in sales? Let me know if that's something you guys want me to share. And by the way, guys, if that is something you want me to share, drop a shadow operator in the chat. Yes. Let me see a bunch of shadow operators and we'll get into it. Any improvement?
Yeah, much better.
Much better? Also, let me know, guys. Drop a shadow operator and let me know, has there been any improvement in the video? Audio, I know, is all good, and we'll go from there. And guys, once again, just remember, you have to be here live in order to get all of the goodies at the end. Shadow operator, shadow operator, shadow operator. Love it, shadow operator. Hashtag shadow operator. Love it. Seems like you guys are super, super excited. Beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, guys, just let me know. Someone said smooth operator. I love that. Let me know if audio is all good, video is all good, awesome audio, live is good. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, cool. Yes, 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 yes. So it's all good now? Yep. All right, beautiful. Well, in that case, we can get back into it. With that being said, let's get into it, okay? Process is simple, just like all beautiful things in life. Number one, you are gonna find creators that you can easily partner with and monetize their audience with a digital product for a slice of the profits. Number two, you're gonna reach out to these creators, showing that you can help them, hint, hint, by actually helping them. And this is where we really start taking advantage of AI. And I'm gonna show you how to do that in just a second. Number three, you're gonna help them develop a simple digital product using the content that they already have, so that way you don't have to create anything yourself. And then number four, that's going to be promoted to their audience using a proven strategy that any beginner can execute in 14 days with just a few Instagram stories, especially with the help of AI. My favorite thing about this process is this: it removes all of the risk. You only partner with creators you know will be profitable, who have pre-existing audiences you can sell to. You don't ever need to worry about where the sales are going to come from, because the creator already built a buyer audience for you. At no point in this process will you need to risk any money. And you can, and by the way, guys, you can know how to do this almost down to the penny, okay, with the digital product. And I'm going to show you actually how to calculate this with the profit calculator. If you compare this to other models that show you how to make money online, many of them are hard to tell if they will work. And most often, they don't work for those that try them, no matter how hard they try. Here, sales are almost guaranteed because the audience is already there, okay? It's the exact same reason I've managed to do well for myself, because I have a loyal audience. And with the shadow operator method, you get the same competitive advantage without spending years and years trying to build this audience yourself. So, with that being said, let's get into the steps. Do you mind if I go a bit technical here for a second? Let me know in the chat if you guys mind if we get a little technical here on out, okay? I assure you, okay, you will have to learn some details, and it may feel a little overwhelming at first, but if you can just work your way through it, I guarantee you the riches are on the other side. So just let me know in the chat if you guys are all cool, if we go get a little technical for just a hot sec. And yes, 100%, hell yeah. Okay, hashtag shadow operator, interested, cool, yes. Okay, cool. Seems like you guys are fine with that. So look, the benefits from what you'll get from today's session will come from enduring the pain of overwhelm, okay? The lazy people who cannot handle a little discomfort, unfortunately, I have nothing to say except you're gonna be stuck, okay? I'm in this presentation and over our 5 days together, I'm not gonna try to like make you feel warm and cozy and fuzzy and try to sell you lies of what's possible and what's not possible. And like this will involve work, okay? Now you can make it 99 times easier if you go for a done for you solution, but if you're gonna do it yourself, it's gonna take time and effort. That's just the case, okay? So, are you in with me here for a technical part, even if it takes a little bit of work? Seems like you guys are. Cool. So now that we agreed to get technical here, the first thing you need to understand is this: you should never shadow operate a creator without first knowing how much money you can make from their audience. With a basic math equation and one resource, you can figure this out, okay? In a matter of minutes, you can know how, okay? In a matter of minutes, once you know how, you can look at a creator and know their profit potential. And do not worry about having to do the math here. Once again, in today's workbook, I'm gonna give you a calculator, so that way all you need to do is input the numbers and it will do all of the work for you. So, here's how we do this. The first thing we need to do is know the price of this digital product, and that's super easy. You can basically pick any price you want. My recommendation is anywhere from $150 to $300. Yes, I want you to understand this is slightly higher, okay, than normal when it comes to pricing. That's because the creator already has an audience, expertise, and demand, okay? They have every single competitive advantage. So because they have an audience, expertise, and demand, okay, it is easier to command a higher price, which means that you can make a lot more money sooner, okay? So $150 to $300, you cannot go wrong with that. It works for any industry. So now that we know the price, the next part of the formula is the number of followers, okay? And that you can easily find out just by looking at their profile. For example, how many followers does this creator have? 14,300, okay? What about this one? 52,000. So that's super easy to get, okay? Now, the next metric we need to look at for our formula here is engagement. Engagement basically represents that small percentage of people who are true fans of this creator. Those people who like everything the creator posts, they watch all their videos, they comment on everything they do. And that's usually a very small percentage of their audience, okay? When they have a big audience, anywhere from 0.5% to 5% of their entire audience, only 0.5 to 5% will be true fans, okay? Those are the followers with real buying potential. That small percentage of people who are emotionally invested in this creator. Now, why is it important to consider this in our equation rather than just taking their total amount of followers? Because everything I teach you here is based on what is realistic, okay? So let me ask you a question. And actually, please answer. Is it realistic for us to assume, like if we're being responsible individuals, okay, and if I'm here trying to actually help you in 2026 move forward, is it realistic for us to assume that every single one of their followers is a potential buyer? Let me know. Is that realistic? Would you trust me if I sat here and went, okay, well, they have 30,000 followers, and from their 30,000 followers, we're going to take a large percentage, and all of those 30,000 people are potential buyers and are going to want to buy something? No, that's not realistic, okay? So I'm not going to try to help you and guide you for 2026, and I'm not going to even from your side, you shouldn't work on a business model and move forward with something on the assumption and taking the best numbers possible. Okay, we're going to look at the worst case scenario. Let's look at the worst case scenario, and if it still makes sense, then we do it. Okay, so look, probably you probably follow quite a few of these creators yourself. Maybe that's fitness creators, finance, or any other hobby that you have. Now, does that mean that all of the people that you follow, you would buy something from every single one of them? Of course not. Okay. Now, there's probably one or two creators that you follow where you watch everything they post, okay? You love their stuff, okay? So you basically watch all their videos, you love their content, okay? I'm sure, do you guys have anyone that comes to mind? Are there like one or two people, these small micro creators where you're like, damn, excuse my French, I really fuck with their stuff. Like, I love their stuff and like, I really appreciate them and I just have this kind of connection with them. And these are the sort of people that you would buy something in an instant, okay? Now, if they ever offered something to buy, okay, and if it was the right product, would it be out of this world to say that you would potentially buy? Guys, drop in the chat. If you follow some of these micro creators, okay, people from 10,000 to 100,000 followers, if they drop something, right, and it was the right price point and you're like, you know what, I really mess with this, like this, I feel like this is really speaking to me, would it be out of this world? Like, I'm not talking about the 1,000 people that you follow. I'm talking about like, those 2 or 3 creators where you're like, I really, really mess with their stuff, okay? Would it be out of this world for you to buy something from them? Let me know in the chat. No. Yes, I would buy 100%. Yes, I might buy. Nah, would probably buy it. So what I'm saying, would it be out of the world? I think you guys are saying no to basically say yes. So basically you guys are all saying yes. Amazing. Yes, why not? Okay, cool, right? Well, that basically proves this model. You guys yourself have now literally just proved this model. The point is that there are these people that have the audience. They've done all of the hard work, okay? They are sitting on this gold mine. They just don't know how to extract that gold, okay? So that is what we're counting on here, okay? That a very small percentage of their audience would be potential buyers. Here, we're going to assume that at least 95% of their audience are just followers, okay? A follower is not a true fan, okay? And that 95% of their audience will never buy anything from them, okay? Can you drop in the chat if you think that sounds a little bit more realistic than assuming that every single one of their followers is a potential buyer? Do you think, now that you think about it, these micro creators, do you think it's fair enough to assume that 5% of their audience is like, yeah, doesn't mean that they would, but they're like, yeah, I would consider, I'll be open to it, or I would strongly consider buying something, okay? Does that sound a little bit more realistic to you? Great. Well, here's how we actually measure engagement, okay? Based on the most recent studies on influencer marketing, micro influencers with 3 to 5% engagement are considered to have strong, loyal audiences. Micro creators are actually the best sort of creators to work with, okay? Above 5% is considered exceptional, from 1 to 3% is medium, and anything below 1% is low, okay? Here's a table to make it super easy to visualize. Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually figure out engagement? For that, we use a very simple free tool called Social Blade. You just put the Instagram handle of the creator you're doing this calculation for, and then Social Blade will literally just tell you their engagement. And with this, our engagement number is added to our equation. So the last number for us to figure out is the conversion rate. And conversion rate is very simple, okay? It basically means out of their true fans, how many are actually gonna buy when you offer them something. And by the way, that doesn't mean buy on day one. It means over the space of a few days or a few weeks or whatever it may be, okay? Because obviously, as I said, not every one of the creator's true fans is gonna buy every time. Now, based on hundreds of thousands of transactions that I oversee every single month on WAP, I can tell you that on average, for a micro creator specifically, around 40% of their true fans will buy. So out of that small percentage of true fans that we talked about, around 40% of them will eventually buy, okay? Just so you understand what this means in practice. So if someone has 10,000 followers and we take an engagement rate of 3%, which by the way is average, that's not exceptional. At a 40% conversion rate of true fans to buyers, it means that we are counting on 98.8% of this creator's followers to ignore their offer, okay? So I'm not giving you a situation here where I say, oh, well, if half of their audience buys the product. No, guys, that's unrealistic, okay? That's irrational. I'm giving you guys, as I said, I'm keeping it no bullshit. I'm keeping it straight up with you guys. I'm giving you a situation where literally 98.8% of their audience completely ignores the product, and we are counting on that to happen. Because here we are planning for the worst. This is why, as I said, this is the most truthful and non-bullshit training you will see this entire year. I'm keeping it so straight up with you guys, okay? Once again, please drop something in the chat if, look, you guys actually appreciate the honesty in showing you examples that are actually realistic here. Do you guys appreciate the fact that I'm showing you guys the worst case scenario, the worst situation? And if the worst case scenario and the worst situation makes sense, then it's like, okay, cool, we have something to work with. We're not relying on hope that, oh, maybe if the best case situation works out. I'm showing you the worst numbers, and then we're working the other way from there. If it goes, if we have our expectations set at the worst case scenario, and we overachieve from that, well, then great. Everyone loves a good surprise. So let me just go ahead and check the chat. Yes. Well, good. I'm glad that you guys appreciate it. First things first, I just want to give a shout out to all you guys. Because for the 77,000 that are here, I believe at one point it went up to 85,000 or 86,000. For the 77,000 that are here, I just want to take literally 30 seconds just to give you a fucking shout out and literally, just let you know that I appreciate you guys. I respect you guys. I love you guys. And I love the fact that I can be straight up with you, because I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of times where I'm doing a presentation, I can't be honest. So I was really scared that when I said like, oh, do you guys appreciate the honesty? Some of you guys would be like, no, or this freaks me out, or, oh, this is too much, or whatever. So like, I just wanted to basically acknowledge you guys for a second and let you know that I really appreciate and respect the fact that I can be so straight up and I can be so straightforward with you guys. So yeah, I love that. You guys are an amazing audience to speak to today. So that's incredible. So now, with all these numbers, we can plug them into the calculator to have our final profit potential, okay? At a 250 price point, 98,000 followers, and a 1.22% engagement rate, okay, which is far below average, you would have a profit potential of $119,000. Your 30% cut of that, you walk away with $35,000 profit in your pocket. Now, as you can see, not every creator will have the same profit potential. This creator is in the familyhood space. Okay, they have a 22,000 potential with only 14,000 followers. And this one right here in the finance space, it's $47,000 potential. Do you notice how the engagement rate makes a huge difference here? Okay, same amount of followers as the last one, double the profit potential. This creator in the parenthood space, 76,000 profit potential. At a 30% cut, you walk away with almost $23,000. So my question to you is, how much would an extra $23,000 benefit your life? Again, I am not saying that you're going to become a millionaire overnight or anything. We are being realistic here. If you came to this training and you're like, I want to watch this and within 1 month, I want to be a millionaire, go away. I'm trying to say this in the most respectful and polite way possible. Please go away, okay? Because I can't give you those lies or these false, promises. Like, it's just not realistic, okay? But if you see this equation and you're like, okay, an extra $23,000 could definitely benefit me in my life right now, then keep watching this training, okay? And look, I'm giving you these numbers. Everything I just showed you right here, it still works even if 98.8% of the creator's followers completely ignore the offer and completely ignore the product, okay? So with that number, would you be willing to give it a shot? You see, the beauty of this methodology is that we actually factor in, it's hard-coded that we think or we understand or we know that most people are not going to do what we want them to do, okay? What other methodology teaches you that? And remember our rule of one. All it takes to get this type of result is one yes to a partnership using the 4-step method. So now that you understand how to actually calculate your profit potential, let me show you how to actually find these creators that we keep talking about. What you're going to do is you're going to open your Instagram app, okay? If you don't have it, download it, create a dummy account. Instagram will be a central piece of what it is that we are doing here. Now, you're going to go into the Explore page and we're going to search for potential creators to partner with. How? by typing in industry plus a keyword that creators often use in their content. For example, the industry could be parenting, and an easy keyword to add here that creators often use in their content is the word tips. Okay, so in this example, you would just search parenting tips. Then what we do here is we're going to start scrolling through the results. Here, I like to scroll through the most viewed ones and try to find ones with fewer than 200,000 views, ideally between 50 to 200,000 views, okay? Because remember, we are targeting micro creators here, not creators with millions of followers, okay? That is a very key part of the process. If I did this presentation and I told you to go to creators with millions of followers, that's just unrealistic, okay? And I'll be honest, you're not gonna have any success. Now, after doing this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you'll probably have a lot of success, but not on day one, okay? So I have to give you a realistic game plan here, okay? All we need to do is we need to find one good creator here, and Instagram will do the rest of the work for us. So once you find one of the results that match our criteria, you click on it and you go to the profile of that creator. If it's between 10 to 100,000 followers, that is the sweet spot we're looking for. In this example, I found this account. Of course, I'm blurring out handles and names out of respect for their privacy, but you get the idea. 61,000 followers, that is perfect. Now, I can also see that she's getting a good number of views on her account, meaning her followers actually consume what it is that she posts. And that is what drives that engagement up that we talked about a few minutes ago. So far, so good. Okay. Everyone following? You guys all understand? All right. So there's one final sign here that makes this creator a perfect fit. And this is a pro tip to find creators with high monetization potential. What you are looking for here are profiles with either a contact email on their bio or any mention of collab. This is very important, guys. Okay. What we are looking for is any sort of contact email on their bio or any sort of mention or email for collaborations. Okay. This is the secret, okay? If they have email for collabs or business inquiries in their bio, they probably have dozens of thousands of followers of, dozens of thousands of dollars of untapped profit potential inside of their audience. Why? Because if they have that email there, it means that they don't have their own product to sell, okay? They are surviving on brand collaborations and sponsorships, which are unreliable sources of income and pay very little. It's what I call hope marketing. They're hoping some brand will come across their profile and throw them $500 for a post. It's not a very sustainable strategy to base your income on, right? Waiting for someone to message you saying, hey, I want to give you money. But here's the beautiful part for you. If they have their email there, they're expecting you to contact them about potential partnerships. They are literally advertising that they are open for business opportunities. So when you reach out about your shadow operating proposal, they're going to be very receptive. You are not cold messaging someone random. You are not but instead, I should say, you're responding to their invitation to discuss business deals. It's basically like they have a sign, okay, saying help wanted without even knowing it, okay? So if they have a contact email there, that's a great sign, okay? All you need to do here is find one creator with these criteria, because once you find one, here's a secret trick that you can apply to find dozens and dozens of accounts similar to that one. All you need to do is click on the small button with an icon of a person and a plus sign, okay? Right next to the messages button. That's what it looks like. When you click that, Instagram will show you dozens of similar accounts to the one that you just found, okay? And you can just keep clicking on these accounts, okay? And you can keep going. And then you keep going from the recommended as well, okay? So for example, from that seed account, I found this account and this account and this other account. And you can basically keep doing this forever. And from that, you're gonna find dozens and dozens of good accounts. It's like finding the first thread. Once you pull it, everything else starts to unravel. And then you can repeat the same process with different keywords in your search to find creators across all different niches. Think solo travel, luxury travel, clean beauty, anti-aging, men's grooming, yoga, home workouts, wellness, vegan cooking, home baking, just to name a few. Now, once again, to make your life easier so that way you don't have to think about all these different topics yourself, I've put together a list of 200 plus topics that you can search for creators on. This will come inside of the digital workbook that you guys will get at the end of the session with the password. As I said, at the end of our live session, I'm going to give you the password for the workbook and the link to get it. Now, in today's workbook, you're going to find that list and the entire action plan to execute the 4-step process. Now, here's what's going to separate those who are successful with this formula from those who are not. To shadow operate for creators like this, you are going to have to reach out to them. And many of us were raised as kids to believe that we shouldn't talk to strangers. And here we are, full-grown adults, and we still think we're not supposed to talk to strangers. Here is the type of self-sabotage talk that's going to keep people from making big profits with this model. Here, okay, people say to themselves, well, I'm new to this. Why would a creator ever want to partner up with me? And here is where you decide if you want to be right or you want to be rich, okay? Because the truth is, they do. the creators do want to partner up with someone exactly like you, at least enough of them to make this work. And by the way, if you don't believe me, just take a look at this message I received a few weeks ago. Hi, Iman. Could you please put me in touch with some AI shadow operators? I'm a creator with 100,000 followers teaching reality transurfing and inner healing. I'm confident that we can scale to 1 million in online courses, which, by the way, is one form of a digital product. After seeing your shadow operator method, I realized that I was the perfect creator to create a partnership with. Okay? Look, it's literally right in front. I receive messages like this all the time, okay? That's only one of the messages. I receive dozens and dozens of these a week, okay? Check this one out. This is from a creator who has 148,000 followers. They say that they are struggling with monetization and would like to partner with someone to help them build their digital ecosystem. Or check out what this creator in the high ticket sales niche is saying. I just want to focus on content, not any of the back end stuff, which is the exact problem that I've been telling you that all these creators face. Or this other one with 25,000 followers who is asking me to put them in touch with an AI shadow operator. He is saying that he can confidently scale to $200,000. Or this creator who talks about Italy. They have 140,000 followers, but they just don't know how to monetize their audience. Look, these are just literally just a few messages a few of dozens and dozens of messages I receive a week. Do you understand how these micro creators are already actively looking for people just like you? Look, back in my agency days, I got thousands and thousands and thousands of people to reach out to CEOs and founders and propose to them to pay $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, even $10,000 a month for marketing services. And the ones who decided that they wanted to be rich rather than right made tons of money from it, okay? They were brand new to business. Lots of them even consider themselves too old to get into online business. Do you think that these people did something magical or special that you can't do yourself? No, they didn't. The reality is that if you ask enough creators, sooner or later, you will get a yes. Plus, on top of that, I know that reaching out to someone with 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 followers may seem intimidating, but the reality is most of these creators are just regular people who still work regular jobs. Guys, I want you to think about how many people do you know, okay, with 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 followers? That's not a lot of audience, okay? That's not a lot of people to have. Most of these people are creating content, okay, about their hobbies. They have a hobby, they have a thing they're into. That's why they have the audience in the first place, okay? They're talking about their favorite colognes, their cologne micro influencers, okay? They love that thing more than anything. If they could make it a full-time job, they would. But unfortunately, they spend their time, okay, they're passionate, they love building an audience, speaking about colognes or speaking about gardening, but then they have to go to their real job, okay? That is where you come in, okay? And that's why this is such an opportunity. And what's so cool about this, okay, is I'll be honest with you, it is actually hard to go to a business owner when you're a beginner and go, listen, you're already doing marketing, so you're already a 6 out of 10, okay? And you should pay me $3,000 a month to take you from a 6 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. But if you go to someone who's a 0 out of 10, and these people are 0 out of 10s because they have the audience, but they're not making money with this. So because they're not making money with this, they are right now, they're a 0 out of 10. Their operation is rated at a 0 out of 10. Even if you do a 4 out of 10 performance, 4 out of 10 is still more money than they were making doing nothing, okay? So now you're not selling. Instead, you're actually presenting an opportunity, okay? Now, if you go back to the example creator I showed you just a few minutes ago, you can see in her bio that she's actually a nurse, okay? So she's probably making $5,000 to $7,000 a month working a full-time job. And then on top of that, having to take care of all the responsibilities that come with being a creator, all while getting little to no financial return out of it, okay? So these people are desperate to get out of their situation. They just don't know how. But after watching today's session, you will know how. And then they will have a very good reason to take you seriously. Now, here is what I used to tell these clients of mine. Just reach out to 100 people and see what happens. Now, let me tell you, 95 of them probably will say no or simply ignore your message, okay? That's the reality, okay? But five of them will be interested. So out of 100 messages, 95 ignores or knows, but 5 yeses, okay? Even if you do a terrible job and only close one shadow operating partnership out of those 5 interested, again, this is how much money just one partnership can generate you. So if you wanted to get one partnership like this, would you be willing to reach out to 100 creators? Because most people won't, okay? And that's because most people would rather be right than rich. What about you? Okay? If you had to choose rich or right, what would you pick? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious to see. Would you guys rather be rich or right? Let me know. What do you guys prefer? Rich. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. As I said, I can already tell right now that you guys are by far the smartest audience that I've spoken to. As I said, I was very nervous to sort of do a presentation that was more on the advanced side of things, and a little bit more technical, but it seems like you guys are picking up more than well. And I love the fact that you guys would rather be rich than right. All right. So look, you don't know what a creator will say if you don't ask. And if 99% of them say no for every one that says yes, well, congratulations, my friend. You will be rich, okay? Because the truth is, if someone with no prior work experience can convince business owners to pay them $5,000 a month for marketing services, I'm sure that you can get at least one yes from a creator who's already looking for ways to monetize their audience. So, are you willing to put in the work to make that happen? If so, great. I'm going to show you how we actually reach out to these creators. The best way to get a response out of an outreach message is to offer them a little bribe for them to respond. Let me explain what I mean. Instead of reaching out, sending a long ass message, okay, that you want to partner with them and blah, 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 like this is going to get ignored, okay? This is like intense. This is a lot, all right? Instead, we open the conversation with what's known as permission-based message, okay? It's a permission-based message. You basically get a small micro commitment by saying something along the lines of, hey, have you ever considered creating a digital product? Or, hey, do you ever get people asking to work with you one-on-one? Or have you ever tried selling something to your audience? Okay, you get permission, okay? From that, you're gonna get permission. You get one foot in through the door. Once that's done, it's so much easier to then get another response. Whereas if you go straight with a long message, no one wants to hear a long message, okay? People are busy, all right? So once we get a positive response, we then pivot to the bribe that I talked about. So what we go ahead and we say is, I put together 3 ways you could launch a digital product to your current audience. Would you like me to send the full breakdown? Then we put together a simple monetization game plan for the creator. This is kind of our like little bribe. It looks like this, all right? It's super sick. The idea behind this monetization game plan is that we're gonna show how we can help them by actually helping them for free first, okay? As I said, I also used to use bribes like this to land my first clients for my agency. I would basically send full website monetization game plans going over how to make more money from their website. Let me actually show you, by the way. My team is going to play a clip from a Loom that I recorded all the way back in 2018, going over a game plan for a potential deal that I tried to land. So this is basically what I would do. And by the way, at the end of it all, once I actually sent this Loom, this is cool. So I think the date on this is, well, it says over 7 years ago, but I think if you look at the date on this, it was actually the month prior. And right after that, I ended up signing them as a client for my agency as a result of this monetization game plan. Can we just roll the clip real quick? Do you have it? Let me know once it's live.
From London. I thought I'd send you a Loom just to kind of wrap up everything that I wrote in the email. Basically, what I want to do is just load the cannon. I want to get you, this entire lead base. So by the time February, probably around February is a good time to launch it. By the time you launch your masterclass, you have a solid lead base. Right? You have a solid lead base but then you should probably have at least 10,000 YouTube subscribers. And once again, keep in mind, these are highly qualified leads. So, I want you to have 10,000 on Instagram, on YouTube, 10,000 on Instagram. I want to show you how via Instagram stories, you can nurture those leads. And also you can, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to pre-sell a crap ton of your masterclass before you actually go out and you start creating it.
All right. So as I said, what's super cool about that whole situation is, I actually ended up signing them as a client from my agency as a result of this monetization game plan, okay? It was one of the first digital products that I actually helped launch. This is back in 2018. So this is actually me with the agency client back in 21st of October, 2018, okay? So it was one of the first digital products I helped launch. They paid me $20,000, okay? As I said, I have this all on my YouTube channel. Now, instead of telling you, I'd rather just show you. So once again, here, we'll play it for you, okay? So, is it rolling? I found out like 2-3 weeks ago that I'm actually extending my trip. I have a 2-day training with a company out here called Motivate Design. So if you guys don't already know, for a 2-day training, I charge $20,000. Well, I charge 15,000 pounds, which is equivalent to like $19,500, something like that. But as always, gonna go ahead and put the first Stripe payment. So basically, the way it works is I do 50% upfront and then 50% after the event is done. So the events or the 2-day training starts in like 3 or 4 days. Yeah, by the time I'm editing this on the flight back, I would have had the first 7,500 pound deposit through, but then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put up the email thread between us, basically outlining how payment works. So you'll see that I do 50% upfront and then 50% once the event is done. So yeah, that's really cool. $20,000 for 2 days. What's up, team?
Yeah.
But you have to like create a random BS campaign and then that's the only way you can get in.
Really?
It's like pretty shit. And then...
All right, guys, we're here at Motivate Design. This is Mona.
Hi.
Mona, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm the CEO and founder of Motivate Design.
And
You want to take a look around?
This is a second day of the 2-day training.
Yes, exactly.
And take a quick little lunch break.
I'm the CEO of Motivate Design. It's a user experience research and design agency here in New York City. We get to work with some pretty awesome brands, Nike and Facebook, a bunch of banks like First Republic Bank.
So I'm here doing a 2-day training for Mona and the rest of our team. So yeah, we're back on. All right, well, guys, as we were watching this, and I'm watching the 67,000 people here right now. You know what's so funny? I saw a couple people that were like, I have Photoshop too. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an example, and I'm going to try to say this in the most respectful way possible. That's an example, and I hope that you guys, when you see someone like that in that level of thinking, remember what I told you. There's some people that want to be right, and there's some people that want to be rich. Okay, so there's some people, and by the way, 99% of you guys are watching this and going, I don't want to be right. Okay, and what I mean by right is some of you guys may have come in today with some preconceptions. Oh, I can't do this. This is a scam. Oh, this doesn't work. And yet I can sit here and show you evidence from 8 years ago, or no, yeah, 8 years ago at this point, of me doing this, okay? Me doing a much harder version of this, and yet some people will still doubt it. Those are the 1% of people that would rather be right. They would rather focus on they would rather indulge themselves in their own beliefs. Oh, like this can't work, or I could never make this work. They're so engulfed in their own beliefs, and they want to be so right that this doesn't work, or this is a scam, or this is a blah, blah. But you watching this, okay, you're the person that would rather be rich. So I see it all the time. You guys are like, rich. You'd rather be rich than be right. And for that, I just want to say, I commend you. I respect you, okay? And yeah, you guys are absolute badasses. I see a lot of people in here are smart, okay? So, and by the way, I don't ever want to dunk on anyone, or I'm not trying to be mean in any way, but really, truly, you need to understand that the competition is so low because so many people, they don't even let themselves put their foot through the door. You could show them everything. You could give them everything on a silver platter, and they still wouldn't do it, okay? Because, as I said, some people would rather be right than rich. So, I just want to give you a little bit of context. That might have seemed a bit random as to why am I showing you this clips. Let me give you some context. Back then, okay, back in 2018, I used to charge a setup fee for these partnerships, okay? So that's why you saw the bank wires right there. Now, as I mentioned already, when you're starting out, you don't charge them anything. So the model that I did was way harder, was way more difficult than what it is that you're doing, okay? When you're doing this wasn't a micro creator, okay? This is a big, okay, technically they had a small social media following, but this is a big business, okay? This is a multi-million-dollar a year business, okay? So this is like the harder version of it. That's not what you're doing, right? You are going to micro influencers, okay? You're going to micro creators, and you don't charge them anything. You just take a slice of the profits, okay? So just to give you context there. So here I made $20,000 from a game plan that I sent. All of that by following the very same principle, okay? Show that you can help them by actually helping them. This works, okay? So let me walk you through each section of this monetization game plan so that way you understand why this works so well. This is a psychological weapon designed to do one thing: make the creator realize that they are sitting on a gold mine and that you are the only one with the map to extract it. So let's break down what that means. First, you're gonna show them that you've done your homework, their follower count, their content niche, and what it is that they do. But here's the key, the hidden transformation. Look at this example. I'll use one of the creators from whom we calculated the revenue potential earlier. To respect their privacy, I won't use their real name. Let's call them Chris. Chris shares fatherhood content through fitness and family time, but the hidden transformation, helping dads heal their unresolved trauma so that way they can show up emotionally present and break the cycle for their children. You see, when you've identified something deeper about their work that they even realize, okay, they haven't even come to this full realization yet. That is when you establish authority, okay? You are not just another person reaching out. You get them, okay? Now comes the setup. You remind them, look, you've built a dedicated audience that genuinely engages with your content. Then you show them the 3 topics that they cover that have the best monetization potential. For Chris, that's healing childhood trauma for better parenting. That's the strongest opportunity. Then it's staying fit and present as a dad. And then it's building emotional connection with your kids. Do you notice what we're doing here? We're not making up random product ideas. Instead, we are showing them their own content, the stuff that their audience already loves, can be turned into something that they're paying for. Once again, you're presenting an opportunity, okay? You're not even charging them any money. They're already doing this, okay? This is why you're pulling together all these competitive advantages. You're going to people with an audience. So they have an audience. Like, it's literally so much money just sitting there. They don't want to monetize, okay? Because they're like, there's a reason they have an audience in the first place. They are good at making content. They're not good at anything else, okay? That's why they have the audience they have in the first place, okay? They're sitting on a gold mine. You help them launch a digital product. If this is 2 years ago, I'll be honest, this was not possible for you. But now with the right AI tools, it's actually possible and it's actually doable, okay? And when you go through this whole process, their eyes are going to light up, okay? This is where you turn their follower account into dollar signs. We show them the exact calculation I just walked through, and we ended with the total profit potential number, $76,000. Now, here's what's going through the creator's head at this exact moment. Wait, I can make $76,000 for my audience just by restructuring content I'm already creating either way. For a creator who's working a full-time job, making $30,000 to $40,000, this is life-changing money. For Chris, it means that he could literally quit his job to go full-time into social media. Imagine how much his quality of life would change, especially for someone with kids. Now you're solving the problem before they even ask it. Now, they'll go, okay, this sounds great, but what product would I even create? You give them options. In our example here, the Healing Dad Blueprint teaches dads how to identify and heal childhood wounds so that way they can stop repeating harmful patterns with their kids, as well as alternative product ideas. The 30-day Present Dad Challenge or Loving Father Blueprint. Notice what we're doing here. You are taking their content, their expertise, and packaging it into products that their audience would actually buy. You are doing the heavy lifting for them. And when someone does the heavy lifting for you, when they hand you a clear path to making money, it's almost impossible to say no. Now, again, don't worry if you don't know how to do the heavy lifting just yet. Right now, I'm just showing you the manual process. In the second part of today's session, I will show you how to automate all of this using AI for the people that want it. It's all in due time. Now, this is where you tell them, if this is something that you're keen to move forward with, I've put together an entire 14-day launch strategy for you. You are saying, look, I've got the entire roadmap. It's simple, it's proven, it's designed specifically for Instagram, the platform that you already use every day. And by the way, this is the exact system that I will share in detail with you in step 4 in just a minute. And here is the genius part. You don't just tell them that this will work, okay? No. Instead, you give them a way to test it themselves before committing to anything. You just say, look, I've gone ahead and created a simple 3-story testing sequence for you based on the primary product idea, which you can use to gauge your audience's interest before committing to building the full product. Do you understand the brilliance of this? Okay, let me break down what's happening psychologically here. Step 1. You're going ahead and you're showing them that you understand their content better than they do. Number 2, you're showing them specific topics that can make money. Number 3, you show them the exact numbers and how much money they're leaving on the table. Then you solve the, hey, what product do I create problem for them, okay? Then you tease them with the launch strategy framework. Then you literally gave them a way to test it with zero commitment. Now, when they post these 3 test stories and their followers start applying, and I'm telling you right now, this is exactly what their followers are going to respond, all of them. Remember, they have a small cult-like, loving, appreciative audience. Like, their audience loves them. They mess with their stuff, okay? They watch their stuff. These are their fans, okay? This is not the 95% of their audience that are just followers or whatever. From that 5%, people are going to say stuff like, OMG, yes, I need this. When are you launching this? Take my money. This is literally the DMs that they're going to get, okay? Every single message they get sounds like a cash machine going off in their ears. And guess what happens next? They come running to you because now they see it's real. It's real. It is not theoretical anymore. Their audience wants this, and they now believe that they are leaving money on the table, potentially a lot of money on the table. And they know that the only person who can help them actually capture that money is you. So what do you think that they're going to do? They message you back and say, okay, I'm in. What's next? Because you showed them that you can help them by actually helping them. No pitch, no pressure, just pure value. And at that point, they are already convinced that they want to do this. They are already convinced that they want to follow the game plan that you provided. So partnering with them becomes as simple as saying, okay, so now that you have the game plan and you've seen the demand is real, do you want to implement this yourself or do you want me to do it for you? When you get to this point, the number of yeses you're going to get is going to be overwhelming. And remember, you only need to get one yes, okay? You only need one yes for that one shadow operating partnership. That is all it takes for you to change your entire financial situation completely. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, this game plan looks complicated. How am I supposed to create something like this for every single creator that I reached out to? Great question. And here's the answer. You don't have to create it from scratch, okay? Inside of today's workbook, I'm giving you the exact template that I just showed you. All you need to do is fill in the creator's name and the follower account, identify their top 3 content topics, just like, and by the way, you do this just by looking at their most viewed posts. Then you're gonna run the simple math. Then you're gonna suggest 1 to 2 product ideas based on their content. And then you're gonna include the 3-slide testing carousel based on the templates from the workbook. The whole game plan takes about 2 to 3 hours per creator to customize. Now, of course, look, some people are going to get lucky and on their 17th creator, they land a partnership. But in general, okay, if I'm being 100% honest with you, the range is anywhere from 50 to 100 outreach messages to land 1 partnership. That is the honest, no bullshit. I'm not going to tell you lies like everyone else will in 2026 that it's going to take 2 seconds and you're going to become a multimillionaire overnight. No, this is the honest, truthful range, okay? So if you do this manually, on the low end, it's going to take you from about 100 to 150 hours. And I'll be honest, that's a lot. I know it's a lot. But once again, as I said, I am not here to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. I'm here to tell you what actually works. And by the way, even if it takes 100 hours of work or 150 hours or 200 hours of work, knowing that it can turn to a 10,000, 20,000, or even 50,000 shadow operating deal, are you willing to put the time in to make this work? Or if you do want the warm and fuzzy way to do this, as promised, as I said, for 99% of people, they will want the do-it-yourself way. But for those of you guys who want it, I will show you how to have it done for you by AI at the end, which, as I said, cuts down each one of these from 2 to 3 hours per creator to only 10 minutes per creator. Okay, so this speeds things up a lot. Okay, so now we have or at this point, we would have found a potential creator. We've got a creator who said yes to partnering with you. Okay. Now what? Now you need to help them develop a product. And here's the good news. This is the easiest part of this entire process because just remember, the creator is already good at creating content. They've been doing it for a long time. Okay. They are an expert in their topic, which is how they got the audience in the first place. Okay. We're not reaching out to people that have followers just for the sake of it. Okay. We are reaching out to people who are already experts, who already have authority in their audience. Okay. So you don't even really need to have any expertise. You don't need to understand anything. All you need to do is take what they're doing and just package it. And here's how you do it. Step number 1, you're going to look at their top performing content. Which posts got the most which posts got the most views? Which topics get the most engagement? What do their followers ask about constantly? Step number 2, you're going to ask yourself, how can I package this as a product? That's it. Bad product framing, for example, is fitness tips for dads. That is too vague. Everyone has fitness tips. Good product framing is the 5-minute morning routine for busy dads who want to drop 20 pounds without missing breakfast with their kids. Okay? Do you see the difference? One is generic, the other is specific. It speaks to a real pain point and promises a clear transformation. Getting this right is the difference between making money and making zero. Okay? Once you have the packaging, here is what you do next. You're going to develop the product outline. Okay? That is basically dividing the steps to achieve this transformation into 4 to 6 core lessons based on their existing content. And again, if you don't feel comfortable doing this yourself, don't worry. AI can take care of everything for you in just a matter of clicks. Then on step 2, you're going to get the creator to deliver these classes live. It can be over Zoom, Google Meets, or even on WAP, whatever you find easier. Why live? Because this way you don't have to spend time on developing the product before making money. This is critical. You don't need a perfect polished product before you launch. You don't even need a product. You just need an outline and a delivery plan. This way, by the time you get one yes from a creator to go through the entire plan launch and profit, that entire process takes about 14 to 28 days. 14 to 28 days from partnership to profit. That is the power of delivering live and launching fast. So when you close your first shadow operating partnership, can you commit to launching it as fast as possible? So that way you can start making money from it within 14 days of that first yes. Now, if you could literally just copy and paste the exact same strategies that are printing millions on a daily basis and implementing them with a creator that already has an audience that wants to buy from them, do you think it would be out of this world for you to make 5,000, 10,000, or even 50,000 with this? Knowing that all it takes for you to do that is to get 1% of the creator's followers actually interested in the product. Okay, that's all we need. Knowing that even if 99% of their audience completely ignores it, you still make a shitload of money. With all that being said, is it really that difficult? If you believe you can do this, drop in the chat #shadow operator or just a shadow operator. I want to see the live chat right now. And with that being said, let's see you guys spam it, and then we'll get back to it. Hashtag shadow operator, shadow ops. By the way, I've seen a lot of you guys change shadow operators to smooth operator, and I'm actually kind of for it. Okay, so I'm actually kind of for it. So you guys have, I didn't think about that before. Shadow operator, love it. Smooth shadow operator. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, cool. Well, let's get back into it. Look, all it takes for you to become a shadow operator today is to decide you are now one. Okay, so if you've decided that, comment the hashtag in the live there. Okay, now just wait until you get your hands on the copy and paste strategy that I'm talking about. You see, inside of Monetize, we give our clients 17 different monetization methods that our AI tools execute for our users that ourselves and our clients have personally battle tested to collectively earn hundreds of millions of dollars from digital products. They are also the same strategies that we help our enterprise clients apply in their digital product businesses at my consulting firm, consulting.com. They usually come to us when they're already making 7 figures with their digital products and want to scale up to that next level. We have clients doing anywhere from $100,000 a month all the way up to 5 million a month. And all of them, without exception, apply one or multiple of these 17 strategies. Now, to keep the theme of this workshop going, the rule of one, I'm not going to teach you 17 strategies here, okay? That'll be out of the scope of what we are trying to achieve here. Instead, I'm simply going to show you one, because you just need one strategy to make $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 with your first creator partnership. And within those 17 strategies, there's actually one strategy that consistently brings the best results in creator product launches. This is the simplest, most replicable, and by far the most effective methodology for a beginner to implement. Now, question for you. Have you ever published an Instagram story, a simple picture with some text on it? If you can do that, congratulations, my friend. You can implement the strategy. Congratulations. You are a shadow operator, because that's essentially what we're doing here, okay? It's what I call the 14-day Instagram launch sequence. And here's what makes this perfect for you to implement as a shadow operator. The creators you are shadow operating for, and by the way, I said technically if you know how to post a story, you don't even need to post a story yourself, okay, right? The creators you're shadow operating for, they are already posting stories every single day. They know how to do it. They are comfortable with it. Their audience expects them to post stories. So you're not asking them to do anything new or different. You are simply giving them a framework for what to post in the exact format that they're already using. Now, before I break down this formula for you, you need to understand why it works so damn well. You see, traditional marketing is like proposing to someone on the first date. I mean, think about it. Someone clicks on a generic ad. They don't know who's behind that ad. There's no face. There's no personal connection. But yet, they expect people to pull out their credit card and spend $200 or $500 or whatever, okay? No wonder most people struggle to make money with that, okay? But with Instagram stories, everything changes because these followers have been watching these creators for months, maybe even years. They wake up and they check their stories. They check their stories during lunch breaks. They check their stories before bed. This creator is literally in their pocket every single day. So when you launch a product through stories, you're not asking a stranger to buy from you. You're asking someone who already knows, likes, and trusts this creator to say yes to buying something from that creator. And that is why you can sell 10x, sometimes even 20x more than traditional marketing. But here's where it gets even better. In a situation like that, you achieve all of that with what I call a market of one. Here's what I mean. In a traditional business, you're competing in an open market. If you want to buy a car, there are thousands of models to choose from. People compare prices, they read reviews. You need to fight for a sale. But when you partner with a creator, you have a monopoly on their audience, okay? When Chris launches the Healing Dad Blueprint, his followers can't go to a competitor. There is no competitor, okay? They want his transformation. There's only one place to get it, okay? Which is from Chris himself. That is what I call a market of one. No competition, no alternatives, no price shopping. And that is why it's so easy and achievable, even for beginners, to make this work. You don't need years of experience or anything. You just need to partner with one creator, and you are operating in a market where you're the only option, okay? Do you understand how this changes everything? Even if you get things wrong during the process, do you really think it's that difficult to sell something that the audience already wants and literally can't get anywhere else? When you are the only option, things work even when you make mistakes along the way. Now, let me show you how we activate the desire from their audience. Stories have 3 psychological advantages. The first one is the ephemeral nature, okay? It's 24-hour countdown time. Stories disappear after 24 hours. And everyone knows this, okay? That creates automatic urgency. People don't want to miss out on what this creator is saying. Whereas if you publish a video, People know the video will always be there, okay? Stories are different. People don't leave them to watch them later. When people see a story from a creator they like, they watch it in that exact moment. You can't get that anywhere else in social media. Next is the binge watch effect. Have you ever started watching stories and suddenly realized that you've been swiping for 10 or 20 or even 30 minutes? Well, that's by design. Stories are addictive. And when someone starts watching your story sequence, they don't just watch one story. No, they watch the entire thing. It's like binge watching a Netflix series, except you're creating a desire for a product along the way. Next is the interactive features, the engagement goldmine. This is actually a secret weapon. Instagram gives you polls, question stickers, quizzes, emoji sliders, countdown timers, all built-in features that make people interact with your content. And every time they interact, Instagram algorithm shows them more of the stories, okay? So the people most likely to buy are automatically seeing more of your content. It's like having a smart algorithm that identifies the best buyers within your creator's audience and keeps them engaged for you for free. So those are the reasons why this works so incredibly well. Now, let me show you what this 14-day sequence actually looks like in practice. This is the 14-day Instagram launch sequence. It is a 14-day sequence that takes someone from, you know what, I like his content, to take my money using nothing except for Instagram stories. And before you think, oh, 14 days sounds like a lot of time. Let me remind you, okay, the creator is already posting stories every single day anyway, okay? So it's not like you're asking them to do more work. You are simply giving them a plan for what to post, okay? Instead of random scattered content that goes nowhere, they're following a proven framework towards a sale. The formula is broken down into 3 simple phases. Phase 1 is the warm-up days. That's day 1 to day 3. This is where we create curiosity and gather intelligence. The whole idea of the warm-up is to begin to activate the creator's audience and create that tribe feeling. Think of it as sort of lighting the fuse. You're not selling anything. You're just teasing, hinting, getting people curious about what it is that's actually coming. And while you do that, you're using Instagram's interactive features to figure out exactly what your audience wants and what objectives they have. So by the time you actually reveal the product, you already know exactly what to say to get them to buy. Phase number 2 is value delivery. This is days 4 to 9. This is where we become the most helpful person in their feed. Over 6 days, you're going to deliver massive value, teaching them things, showing them possibilities, proving that you know your stuff. And every single day, you are activating psychological buy buttons, things like authority, reciprocity, social proof, that makes them want to buy from you when the time comes. And this is the secret sauce. This is where most people fail because they jump straight into selling. But when you do this first, the selling becomes easy. Phase number 3 is open cart, day 10 to day 14. This is where we turn the heat up and really make money. You open the doors to the creator's product, create scarcity, showcase social proof in real time, and build towards a deadline that makes people act, okay? And the last day, insane urgency. Sales notifications start rolling in constantly, okay? It's one of the most exciting experiences that you're ever gonna have in business, okay? Whenever you open something and something sells, and when you start checking your WAP and you start seeing, oh wow, the creator's getting sales, and like you can do the math in your head. You're going, all right, we got 10 sales. Well, 30% of that is mine, or 50% of that is mine. As you get more advanced, by the way, of course, but 30% is mine, or 25% of mine is mine, or 35% of that revenue is mine. That's insane. I'm telling you right now, making that first dollar, there's nothing that comes close. And you know what's even better? Rather than having to spend 2 or 3 years building an audience, being a TikToker and a celebrity and a dancing this and a dancing that and all the headaches that come with that. Instead, you go to someone that's already done all of the hard work and you go, hey, you're making no money. Let's call it how it is, because micro influencers, they make no money. All right. I know, because I can see all the data. They make no money. You're helping them launch a product. You're going through, you don't have to deal with any of that headache. You can stay in the shadows. That's why you're a hashtag shadow operator, or even better, a hashtag smooth shadow operator for some of you guys. And it's an indescribable feeling. And I'm so excited for you guys to experience this for the first time. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. Iman, this sounds complicated. I don't know how to do this whole psychology stuff. Listen to me. You don't need to, because I'm going to give you the exact formula. Day by day, story by story, what to post, when to post it, and what interactive features to use. You just need to adapt it to the creator's specific topic and audience. We are going to break this down step by step on day 3, so make sure you don't miss that one. But for now, all you need to understand is that this formula works. Now, you might be wondering, where does this formula come from? Did you just make it up on the spot? No, not at all. In fact, I've been using this formula myself for years now to make millions and millions of dollars. By the way, it was using this formula that I beat the record for the most cash collected in 1 hour, 24 hours, 7-day, and 30-day on WAP twice last year. Bear in mind, I'm a co-owner in WAP, but even on my own platform, I went, What's the best way to test my platform and make sure that, my platform is working flawlessly? Well, the best way to test it is to break all the records, not once, but twice. So that's what we did. And the way I did it was using all of these same methodology, okay? I'm not hiding anything. I'm showing you guys everything. I'm keeping it no BS, and I'm showing you exactly how to implement the stuff that I'm even still using to this day. Once again, the only difference here is I used it on YouTube. So rather than Instagram, I used it on YouTube. Potential to make far more money. It's one of the 17 monetization methods that we actually give inside of Monetize. It's one of 17 monetization methods that actually gets deployed through the software that we own or license, but it's also more advanced. Okay, so I don't want to really get into that today. Okay, I want to go for what's the easiest method that you can do that maybe isn't going to make like the craziest amount of money, but is good, consistent money. And that's really the 14-day Instagram story sequence. Okay, now Jason, who's our special guest here, who you're going to meet in just a minute, he actually used it with email and even on Zoom for his $57 million partnership on a shadow operating project. But the backbone of this formula is the same. So whether you use it on Zoom, whether you use it on YouTube, like no matter what you end up using it on, okay, the backbone is the same. The methodology is still the same, okay? What I did was I adapted it for Instagram, the platform where your creators already have an engaged audience waiting to hear from them every single day. Same psychological principles, simply just optimized for the platform that's the easiest for you to execute on as someone who's doing this for the first time. Now, let me go ahead and actually pull back the curtain even further and show you the real magic behind why this formula works. You know what launching a product online is like? It's like trying to crack open a safe. To open it, you need the right combination. And when it comes to promoting a product online, most people are just randomly spinning the dial, hoping that something works. Maybe if I post more content, maybe if I offer a discount, maybe if I add more features, and they wonder why the safe never opens. But there's a combination that works. In fact, there are 11 specific things that you need in order for it to hit. These are what we call psychological buy buttons, okay? These are the elements that influence buying decisions at a subconscious level, deep in the human brain. The stuff that most people don't even realize is affecting them. And look, when you put these psychological buy buttons in the right order, at the right time, in the right sequence, that is what cracks the code. Just like the password to safe. And over this 14-day sequence, you are going to activate all 11 of these triggers, one after the other, layered on top of each other. So by the time that you ask for the sale, the safe is open and the money comes pouring out. Now, let me show you how this works by breaking down a few of these triggers, okay? Remember when you were a kid and you couldn't wait for Christmas or your birthday? Time seemed to slow down. You thought about it constantly. You couldn't focus on anything else. That is the anticipation buy button. And this formula builds anticipation from day one. Every day ends with a tease about tomorrow. Wait until you see what I'm sharing tomorrow. Just like what I'm doing with you here, okay? I'm showing you all of these strategies and then I'm telling you, and later, I will show you how to automate this with AI. This way, by the time you actually open the doors to the creator's product, people have been waiting for it, okay? They want it. They are not annoyed by the product. They are excited by it. Then we have the reciprocity buy button. This is one of the most powerful psychological principles in existence. When someone gives you something of value, you feel obligated to give something back. It is hardwired to us, hardwired into us as humans, I should say. And over 14 days, the creator is going to give away so much value, teaching them things, showing them strategies, helping them see what's possible, that by the end, when they make their product available, the audience feels like they owe it to the creator, not in a manipulative way, in a genuine, wow, this person has given me so much, I want to support them kind of way. Finally, people want what they can't have, okay? And they want it more when there's less of it available. And that is why we close the offer at the end of day 14, because scarcity forces people to make a decision instead of procrastinating forever. And here's what's wild. I have seen product launches like this where 50% of the sales come in the last 24 hours. And that is the power of the scarcity buy button. And then on top of these three, we have a bunch of other essential buy buttons that are built into the exact right sequence. So that way, by day 10, the safe opens, sales start flooding in. So that way, you don't need to memorize these triggers, okay? You don't need to understand the neuroscience behind them, okay? You just need to follow the formula because it is already designed to dial in these triggers at exactly the right time in exactly the right order. So that way, you can follow a step-by-step formula that shows you exactly what you need to do every single day of the 14 days. So once again, I want you to go ahead and drop a shadow operator or a hashtag shadow operator or a smooth shadow operator below, because if you can follow a step-by-step formula, you can be successful with this. And let me have a swig of water and see how you guys are enjoying this. Shadow operator, shadow operator. Shadow operator, love it. All right, cool. Well, with that being said, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and bring this back to you and your role as the shadow operator. Remember, you are not the one posting the stories. The creator is. Your job is just to be the operator. You are going to plan the 14-day sequence, what topics to cover each day, and what to say in each story. What matters is, okay, you're the operator, they're the face. And together, you're running a machine that prints money. This formula is really what makes it super easy for you to make tons of money with this opportunity. It's very simple. The creator would never know how to do it on their own because they lack the formula. And the reason most people would never get into shadow operating is that they wouldn't be able to unlock serious money with just one deal. This formula makes it so that with one deal, you can completely change your whole financial situation. Plus, when you show the plan to the creator, they're going to be so excited to work with you because they see you get it. It's not about you, it's about your plan. That is what sells them. This is why with this business, you can be new and still close big deals. Does all this make sense? Are you starting to get excited about the idea of becoming a shadow operator? If that's the case, here's my challenge for you. I'm about to get into the second section of today's presentation. This is where I'm going to break down how to automate this entire process with AI. And I want you to actually pay attention because I'm going to give you the entire blueprint, the specific strategies, but it is only valuable if you implement it, okay? I know from experience that most people won't because most people will watch and think, oh, that's cool, and then just do nothing. But you, okay, if you are serious about becoming a shadow operator, which I can tell, like I am actually so shocked at how incredible you guys are. Like I can tell you guys are some absolute badasses. The amount of times that I've seen people going, okay, I would rather be rich than right. Okay, I'd rather be rich than right. Okay, I'd rather put my ego to the side. And when the opportunity presents it to myself, I'm gonna drown out all the noise and I'm just gonna commit. And like I'm honestly, I don't think I've ever enjoyed a presentation as much as this one. Okay, so with that being said, if you're serious about creating a 5,000, 10,000, or even a 50,000 partnership with a creator, if you're serious about having a system that actually works even when 99% of people don't do what you want them to do, then you need to commit to actually taking action on what I'm about to show you. All right? Can you commit to that? Let me know in the chat if you guys can commit. And if so, we can commence. Let me talk to you guys about the automated way. Okay. So for 99% of people, they are like, you know what? I'm going to do the manual way. It's going to take me like 150 hours to get a creator, and then like it's going to take me more time to actually deliver on it and all this stuff. Like that's for most people, and that's totally fine. I made a promise to you at the beginning that I will show you the do-it-yourself way, and I stick to that promise. For the 1% of people that want to go the automated way, here's how the most successful shadow operators are actually implementing the system in 2026. Not with brute force, not with 40 hours of manual work, but with AI leverage. Okay, now I need to be very clear about something up front. What I'm about to show you is about removing the execution bottleneck. You will still need to choose the right creators, but instead of spending 100 hours on this process, you're gonna spend about 30 minutes operating the AI. That is the difference, okay? That's the difference in time. So let me go ahead and walk you through the exact same 4-step, but this time I'm going to show you how to execute them using AI. By the end of this, you will understand exactly how to implement the system even while working a full job. Let's dive in. Step 1 stays exactly the same whether you're doing this manually or with AI. As I've said, you still need to identify potential creators to partner with. Remember the criteria from earlier: 10,000 to 100,000 followers, consistent engagement, a topic that can be monetized, and someone not already selling their own products, okay? This part requires your judgment, your strategic thinking. AI cannot tell you which creator is right for you for your first partnership. Unfortunately, AI can't do that, okay? Now, once you have that list of potential creators, that is when AI becomes your superpower. So let's go back to the monetization game plan. The document that makes creators realize that they are sitting on a gold mine and that you are the only one with a map. It has 6 parts: the audit, the opportunity, the numbers, the product suggestions, the launch strategy, tease, as well as the testing sequence. Once we map this out, we have a full monetization game plan. Again, when you take the done for you approach and create this manually, when you take the do it yourself approach, I should say, and do this manually, that takes hours and hours of research and development. Okay, this will be easily 2 to 3 hours per creator. Okay, because you're gonna have to watch their content, you're gonna have to take notes, identify patterns, write the copy, do the math, and format it correctly. I'll be honest, that's a lot of work. Okay, which means if you're working full time, you can maybe create 3 to 4 of these per week. So to reach out to 50 creators, that is months of work. Now, if I showed you a way to create the same game plan in about 5 minutes, how much easier would that make this whole process for you? So instead of taking 3 hours, it only took you 5 minutes, okay? Let me show you how. It literally takes less than 10 clicks. You don't need any prompts, okay? You don't need to give AI any context. You don't need to explain what you're trying to do in excruciating detail. You don't even need any back and forth in a chat to try to get the results you want. The only thing you need is to select the monetization game plan agent inside of the specialized AI, and then you just give the AI a link to your creator's Instagram profile, so that way it can analyze it and develop the entire game plan based on their specific content. There's no prompts needed. The final result will look something like this. As I said, insanely in-depth content. And with one more click, we can make it look beautiful like this, okay? Or this, here's another example of something. And once again, this was created in a space of minutes. If for you to do this manually, because I remember back in the day, I used to have to do it, 7, 8 years ago, this would have taken you hours and hours and hours of work, okay? Here's another example. These are so beautiful. Imagine being a micro creator and receiving this and seeing how much money you're leaving on the table and seeing how professional you are, okay? These are all real examples from our clients inside of Monetize. So, do you think you could click a few buttons and get this generated for you by AI when you realize that what used to take days of research, analysis, and copywriting can now be done in the space of minutes with the right AI tool? Doesn't this remove every excuse about not having the skills or the time to create an online income? Can you see how this systematic approach, where the AI does all of the heavy lifting once you've defined the strategic foundation, makes it possible for complete beginners to deliver professional grade game plans that previously required years of marketing experience? Now, here's something crucial you need to understand about this process. There are two types of AIs in the world right now. There's generic AI and there's specialized AI, and understanding the difference is critical if you want to actually succeed with this. Generic AI tools are the sorts of ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. They can write emails, they can answer questions, they can help with basic tasks. They do a little bit of everything. For general use, like they're great for that sort of stuff. But here's the problem. When you are a generalist, you struggle with specialization. It's like asking a general doctor to perform brain surgery instead of hiring a neurosurgeon, okay? Both are doctors, but specialization makes all the difference. And what we are doing here is creating monetization game plans, developing product outlines, creating 14-day launch sequences, and all of that is specialized work, okay? Let me prove this to you. Let's say you want to use ChatGPT to create a creator game plan, okay? Can you just click a button to get that creator for you? No, not really, right? Here's what you would need to do. You would need to watch the creator's top 5 videos. You would then need to get them transcribed. You would then need to write a detailed prompt explaining what you want. Then you would get a generic output. Then you would need to revise your prompt. Then you would need to try again. And then once again, it's still not right. And now you're spending countless hours going back and forth with this thing. And even then, as I said, you're still probably not going to get the depth you need. Why? It's simple. ChatGPT doesn't understand the context of what you are trying to do. It doesn't know what a monetization game plan is. It can't tell you a good product from a bad product. It lacks the psychology behind what it is that we are creating here. You would have to teach it all of that. You would have to teach all of that through prompting. And most people don't even know what to teach. And you don't need to, okay? That is why we have specialized AI. Look, do you know what the fastest growing tech company ever was? It used to be ChatGPT, not anymore. It is now Lovable, a specialized AI tool for creating apps and websites. They hit 100 million in revenue, in ARR, annual recurring revenue, in just 8 months. It took ChatGPT 2 years to get there, okay? Second place is Cursor, a specialized AI tool for coding. We are entering the era of specialized AI, and it is 10 times more powerful than generic AI. Why? Because specialized AI is built for one thing. It understands the exact workflow you need, the exact format of the output, and the nuances and the context of the task that you're giving it. You don't need to prompt it. You don't need to teach it. It already knows. And that is also the answer to the question I get all the time. People ask me, Iman, why wouldn't the creators then just use the AI to do all of this for them instead of partnering with me? Because, my friend, they can't use ChatGPT to do what we're doing here, okay? They don't know this monetization strategy. They don't have the specialized AI tools, and they don't understand the principles behind it. And that is why they'll make 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 from this partnership, because you can deliver what they can't themselves. So when I show you these tools in just a moment, understand that these aren't just easier versions of ChatGPT. They are specialized tools built specifically for this AI shadow operator model. They understand creator psychology, audience analysis, revenue projections, product development frameworks, and launch sequence psychology, okay? All of that built in. That is why they work. Now, why do I bring this up? Because specialized AI is the most powerful tool that you can use to monetize creators' audiences, and do so with less effort, less time, and without any previous expertise. And it's also with these specialized AI tools that we build game plans, beautiful game plans just like this. These are real examples of game plans that our clients have created inside Monetize. So Do you now see how specialized AI built specifically for this exact task is exponentially more powerful than trying to prompt your way through generic AI tools? And can you now see how having specialized AI tools is exactly why creators with the potential to generate 10,000, 20,000, or even 50,000 will partner with you? So, doesn't it make perfect sense for you to start using these specialized AI tools as well if you want to get into this AI shadow operator model? Well, we are going to talk about how you can get access to these specialized AI tools in just a minute, all under one package. First, you need to understand how we're actually going to help creators develop their product. Okay, so once you have a creator to actually shadow operate for, now we actually need to help them develop a product. Okay, remember the rule of one; it applies here as well. You only need one product. Okay, it was with one product that I built my career online and generated over $20 million. Now, this used to be the longest and most challenging step of this entire process, which was developing their digital product. I remember back in the day, I had an agency client of mine. Okay, and they paid their setup fee, but they didn't have their product done yet. So for us, we couldn't, build the funnel. We couldn't run the ads. Stuff, by the way, all this stuff is not applicable to you. And even earlier, by the way, when I showed you like me sending a loom and they could see my face, like a lot of that was high level stuff. I did the much, much more advanced, difficult version of this. This is the 2026 latest and greatest. We have all these tools, all these resources. So like I did a version of this that was like 100x harder. Okay. You guys, like, I'm very jealous that you guys have these options and these abilities. Okay. So as I said, back when I was running my agency, I had this client, they paid the setup fee, but they hadn't created the product yet, okay? Fast forward over a year, no matter how many times I ping them on Slack, no matter how many times I messaged them, they still hadn't finished their product, okay? Because back then, it took an insane amount of work to create high quality digital products. But now, with specialized AI, this has become the easiest part of the process. You barely need to do any work. So here's what to do. Remember the monetization game plan that we generated in the last step. All we need to do is copy that document and paste it into another specialized AI tool that will help us develop the product for the creator. The first specialized AI tool already did all of the heavy lifting for us. So that way we don't need to feed any more inputs or prompts here, okay? Just with the content you pasted here, it's gonna suggest 20 potential products to launch for this creator's audience. All you need to do is select one, and it's going to develop the entire outline for this product based on the content from this creator. And that is literally all you need to do before you actually go ahead and start selling. Why? Same thing as I said before. The easiest way to launch a digital product is to take this outline and get your creator to deliver each step of the outline live, literally as I'm doing right here with you right now. And you do that after you sold the product with our 14-day story sequence that we covered in step 4, because this way the creator doesn't need to spend any time recording videos to put this product together, okay? Which means that you can launch fast without having to spend any time with product development before you actually start making money from this. So do you now understand and do you now see how simple this is, okay? And how with a simple step, you won't ever have to worry about, oh, but what will the creator sell? The AI is going to develop the product outline for you, and all the creator needs to do is deliver this outline live after you already sold the product, okay? Do you understand how easy this whole thing becomes when you do it with specialized AI? Now, the only thing missing for us here is to automate all the steps of this process to develop the 14-day Instagram story sequence. This is the one strategy that you need to make 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 from a shadow operating partnership. Now, as you can imagine, putting together a sequence like this that turns Instagram followers into buyers requires quite a lot of skills. And that is what copywriters specialize in. And that is why sometimes for a single promotion like this, okay? Jason, for example, he made $57 million from a single launch as a shadow operator. Can you imagine that? For years, this promotion held the record for the biggest product launch ever in the industry. And that was 4 years ago. And look, can you imagine how much this one partnership earned him? Okay, millions of dollars to say the least, probably more than what most people would need to retire. And the strategy he used on the 57 million shadow operating partnership, it follows the exact 3 phases of our Instagram launch formula: warm up, value delivery, and cart open. Now, Jason has been studying copywriting, persuasion, and human psychology for literally decades. And historically, creating the assets you need to apply this strategy would require you either spending years learning copywriting yourself, or you would have to hire a copywriter who you'd have to pay at least $10,000 a month to actually put something like this together for you. And by the way, that's exactly what I used to do back when I was running my agency. I used to have a copywriter who wrote all the copy for the multiple clients that we had, but you don't need to. By the way, this is Kieran. He was my copywriter. Because, shout out Kieran, by the way, absolute legend. Because look, now it is possible to follow the same structure without you needing to have all this expertise yourself, okay? And with what I'm about to show you, you can apply the same structure to launch a product AI. If you watch the teaser that played before the session started, you'll remember the graph. It basically showed how on one hand, it's getting harder and harder to get a regular job. But if we're playing on the right side of the equation, it also means that we can now do many things that just a few short years ago would have required a whole team, like creating a launch sequence, okay? Which means you can now create this entire structure for yourself using specialized AI. And by the way, that huge discrepancy there on the graph, that was from generic AI. Imagine what will happen once people start catching up to specialized AI. That shift there won't even compare. And you right now have the opportunity to be on the forefront of this revolution. Have you ever wanted to be early to something big? Well, this might be it, okay? So here's how you actually apply this in practice. You can use specialized AI to generate the content of each of the 14 days for you without you actually having to write a single letter yourself. The process is exactly the same as we went through to generate the audit, okay? Very simple. The only difference is you already fed the AI with the information about the creator, okay? So all you need to do is select the specialized AI agent for the 14-day story sequence, select the day you want to develop the content for, and click generate. It will generate the content for that entire sequence for you. Here is an example of what it generated for me for day 6 of the content. Now, if you pay attention, you can spot some of those psychological buy buttons we talked about earlier: anticipation, identification, reciprocity. You'll notice how we are pushing all those buy buttons without selling, by actually getting people invested in this idea of a potential transformation that they already desire. Then you just send the creator this text output of the AI generated. And all the creator has to do is post this sequence as a story. They can post it as a video going over the script if they want, or they can literally just post it as a text on their stories like I usually do. This was just the day one example. If you follow the sequence for 14 days, you have the potential to unlock tens of thousands of dollars from their audience. Money that goes straight into your bank account. And remember, this is already counting on 99% of their audience simply ignoring the entire sequence completely. What other strategy or business do you know that can make you this much money even when 99% of the potential customers do not take the action that you want them to? Literally 99% of their audience and 99% of the customers ignore buying, don't buy, but from that 1%, you still make so much money. This is the difference of this AI shadow operator business model, okay? We are not counting on everything working as well as possible. And and unfortunately, that's what most people do, okay? We are counting that most people won't buy, and we still make life-changing amounts from one shadow operating partnership. So my question to you is, do you think you can do that? Click a button to generate the content for each day. If you remember back from yesterday's episode, a key part of the game plan is that we send a demand testing theory for the creator to post, right? Because that is all you need to do to have one successful shadow operating partnership that can completely change your financial situation. Can you honestly say that you can't succeed with this when all you have to do is click a button to generate each day's content and literally just send it to the creator? When the AI is literally doing all of the strategic work for you that used to require decades of expertise. Guys, this is the stuff we would have killed to have for back in the days. So, isn't it incredible that what used to be an incredibly profitable but extremely exclusive club is now available to those with the right tools? Let me make this clear. This has always been profitable. Okay, this is not anything new or gimmicky or yada yada. This has been there. This is not a new business model. This is not a new fad or a new trick. Okay, it's just simply right now with the right tools is become available for people like you to join this club. For the past 20 years, making money online required you to burn the boats, okay? Quit your job, go all in, risk everything. And frankly, that's a stupid decision for most people. Most people can't afford to quit their jobs and hope something works. They have mortgages, they have kids, they have responsibilities. But now AI has made it possible to pursue this part-time, okay? To test it while keeping your job, to prove it works before risking everything. And that is why I built these specialized AI tools that I've shown you in today's presentation. Not to help you, okay, get hundreds of partnerships, but instead to help you get one partnership. One that can make you $6,000, $14,000, $35,000 if you pick the right creator. And do so by getting your hands in what is now the most powerful tool in the history of mankind, specialized AI. So, when I show you this offer in a moment, I'm not asking you to bet everything. In fact, I'm actually asking you to do the opposite. I'm asking you to invest in the tools that make this possible part-time, because the last thing I want for you to do is quit your job and hope this works. That is not smart. What's smart is testing it part-time, proving it works, and then deciding what to do next. And this is what I want to offer to the 1% of you here today that want to get into shadow operating without having to execute everything manually, and instead taking advantage of specialized AI to get this done for you. So instead of spending 100 to 200 hours per partnership, you can spend less than 5 hours. This is exactly what I'm going to offer you at the end of today's session. So look, it is my great, sincere pleasure that I introduce to you our latest version of Monetize. This is the done-for-you solution for shadow operating. And here is how this all came together. About 3 months ago, I was in New York looking at our 5th floor expansion at the WAP headquarters. And obviously, while I'm there, I'm always analyzing data. I'm always looking over the numbers. And specifically, I was looking at our top consultant.com clients when I noticed something that really frustrated me, okay? We had millions of dollars flowing through creators selling digital products. Some of these creators were making life-changing money, 50K, 100K, 500K per year. But for every creator succeeding, there were hundreds struggling. Look, they had the audience, they had the expertise, they had the trust, okay? They had all those things. They simply didn't have the right strategy. So they just stayed stuck, okay, making pennies from sponsorships while sitting on a gold mine. They needed an operator, and it is in my best interest to source these operators, okay? Because the more money all these creators make, the more money I make through WAP and consultant.com. And that's when I had a thought. What if there was a way for someone, anyone, okay, to become an operator without needing years of marketing experience, without needing a team or a huge upfront investment, okay? What if that was possible? And while getting 90% of the hard work done with AI, even better, to keep going with our theme of one here, what if we could do all of that? What if we could package all of that up under one single offer? So that way, you get this entire 4-step process done for you. So that way, you have the highest likelihood of succeeding with this at the lowest risk possible. Here's how this works. Everything I've shown you today, the 4 steps, the strategies, the frameworks, that is the do-it-yourself way. I keep my promise, okay? That's all the do-it-yourself way. And as I said, it's going to take you about 150 to 250 hours to do it yourself, as in get the partnership and then actually roll out the partnership. That's the honest answer, okay? And that's the honest truth. You can go ahead and execute all of that manually, but that comes with a lot of risks of doing things wrong and a huge time investment from your end. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've built for you is the done for you approach, okay? This is a complete system that takes everything I just taught you and automate 90% of the execution using the most powerful tool known to man, specialized AI. This way, instead of spending 100+ hours per partnership, all you need to do is operate the AI in the shadows. That is Monetize. So here is what you get inside of Monetize. Starting with the most important piece of this equation, the 14-day formula, okay? As I've told you already, being able to execute on this formula is what makes it possible to completely change your whole financial situation with one single deal. If you can execute on this formula, as long as you have a creator to apply it to, you can make money. The problem is being able to execute on it. Here's the thing, I can give you the templates, okay? I can give you the structure, and I will, but do you trust yourself to follow it to a T without making mistakes? And most importantly, do you actually have the time to learn all of the ins and outs, the nuances of how to actually apply this formula correctly, the small elements that can make or break it? Because I can teach you that, but do you truly want to spend months and months and years becoming a master to learn this, okay? Or would you rather just have the specialized AI doing all of this work for you? So that way, you don't even need to trust yourself to get this right. All you need to do is trust the specialized AI. The one that was not developed in just a few weeks or even a few months, but years of work, okay? And trained by one of the top marketers in the world. So that way you can skip all the steep learning curve that I and Jason and many others have made millions as shadow operators. You know, we had to go through this process manually. And instead, all you have to do is click a few buttons on the specialized AI. If you prefer that option to get all the work done for you with specialized AI, that is exactly what you're gonna get with the first AI SaaS in this package. And by the way, if you guys don't know what SaaS is, it stands for software as a service, meaning we provide you with a software that does the work for you. And the first AI SaaS that you get inside of this offer is Ghostwriter OS. This is the exact specialized AI that you've seen in practice multiple times today. Ghostwriter is a collection of promptless specialized AI agents. That means you don't need to prompt them. You don't need to teach them. You don't even need to tell them what you want them to do, okay? And you might ask, so how does the AI know what to write about for each creator? The exact same way it did when generating the monetization game plan for us. The only input you ever need to give Ghostwriter OS is a link to the creator's Instagram. It will then automatically extract all of the raw materials that it needs for all of its agents. Then, to generate your 14-day story sequence, all you need to do is select the agent you want, and click generate, as you've seen in practice already. And it will automatically output your entire story sequence for that day. One that perfectly follows the exact framework without making a single mistake. So all you need to do is literally just copy and paste this output and send it to the creators, so that way they can post as a story, like I usually do. And by the way, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret here. Have you guys ever seen me posting a sequence of a few stories with a text where at the end I ask you to take an action? Maybe, click a link, watch a video, or register to a workshop like this? Well, don't tell anyone, but I don't actually write any of those sequences myself. Ghostwriter makes them for me. I just post them exactly as you will do with the creator that you partner up with. Now, just to give you an idea, on the last event that I ran, I posted 10 story sequences just like this, okay? And you want to know how much they generated me? $1.4 million. Okay, the $1.4 million attributed directly to those 10 sequences. So every time I post one of these sequences, I got paid $140,000. So when I tell you that you can make a lot of money, okay, when you have the right Instagram story sequences, I'm speaking from firsthand experience. And look, I could write them myself. I've been doing this for years, but I just don't, okay? Because Ghostwriter still does a better job than I do myself. So I trust Ghostwriter to do this for my company more than I even trust myself. So don't you think that having your hands on the same specialized AI tool that I use would allow you to put together some insanely profitable Instagram story sequences for your creator without you even having to learn these skills yourself? Well, that is exactly what you are going to get inside Monetize. And in fact, I'm actually licensing it from a Brazilian company with thousands of active customers paying to use it. So this is a genuine, true hard cost to me. And by the way, here's the wires, here's the screenshots. Just in the last 6 months, I have paid this company $530,000 in licensing fees. As I said, here are the bank wires for each payment. We are literally spending almost $100,000 a month to make this available to you for free inside Monetize. Now, remember, this 14-day story sequence I told you about is only one of 17 different monetization methods that we give our monetized clients. We actually have a full playbook that we use with our $25,000 consulting clients at consultant.com. All right, and that's to show them exactly how and when to implement each one of these 17 strategies. So here's what I did. I expanded this playbook and turned it into a full-blown program with Netflix level quality. In this program, I personally walk you through the entire process of starting a shadow operating business from scratch and using these specialized AI tools to find creators, partner with them, help them develop a digital product, and finally launch a digital product to their audience and make tens of thousands of dollars from it. And here, I include all the details: how to source the best creators, how to message them to get their attention, how to get them to say yes to you, what to do once they say yes to you, because most people here just panic, okay? How to onboard them, how to communicate with them professionally, how to use the specialized AI tools to generate all the materials that you need to launch, and how to apply each one of our 17 monetization strategies, all covered in excruciating detail. I've called this program the Shadow Operating Playbook, and it's built on the exact same principles I have used to teach my agency programs, which have gotten tens of thousands of regular, everyday people to get business owners paying them $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, even $10,000 a month for marketing services. The only difference is, in this case, you're not asking anyone to pay you. You're doing the opposite. You're offering them money that they don't have, which is 10 times easier to get results with. So with the Shadow Operating Playbook, you will never find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do or what's the next step. Everything is mapped out step by step, from the moment you get started with this business model to signing your first deal, to your first creator launch, to scaling to multiple creators. With this, the question isn't whether you can figure this out, it's whether you can follow simple instructions. Historically, just the program is something I've sold standalone for $1,495. And with the results people were getting just from the program, can you see how the program alone is worth it? Now, before you can launch your 14-day campaign, you need a product for the creator. So you might be asking, how do I create that? Well, a lot of people fail in this part of the process because they simply don't know how to choose the right topic for a creator. Quick example, recently we were working with quite a large creator and helping her develop a product. Most of her audience follows her because they see her as a role model and as a confident and successful woman, and they want to have that sort of confidence too, in the way they dress, the way they look, and most importantly, the way they feel about themselves. And during this conversation, trying to come up with the right angle for the product, one of the suggestions from this creator was, well, what if we create a digital product showing women how to speak better in front of camera? Now, naive people or beginners, beginner shadow operators would blindly follow the creator's suggestion here and say, oh, it's a good idea. But the truth is that's a terrible idea, and choosing that product would have been a deadly mistake. Why? Because that only applies to a very small segment of her audience. Most of her audience does not want to be in front of the camera. They already struggle to look at themselves in the mirror and be happy with what they see, let alone record themselves, for the whole world. And it was because of the situations like this that I spent almost a year developing my own specialized AI specifically for the sole purpose of helping me develop digital products that sell. That specialized AI tool is what I call Synthesize AI. It is the world's most powerful digital product creation engine, okay? It identifies profitable, untapped topics, synthesizes the content straight from the creator's Instagram profile, okay? This is insane. Suggests dozens of potential profitable products that you could create on that topic, and then develops the entire outline for your creator's product so that way you don't even have to think about this throughout the entire process. It develops the entire product in around 10 minutes or so. Do you think that you could click a few buttons if that's all you need to do to create a profitable digital product for your creator? That is the power of Synthesize. And once again, I've used this tool myself to create the entire outline for a product of mine, which I sold at a previous event. In fact, I actually used the 1.0 version of Synthesize, and I made over $370,000 in 30 days with it, okay? Almost 13,000 people purchased this digital product. It took me around 90 minutes to develop it using Synthesize AI to make more from one product than most people make in a year. And now you get access to the most recent version that we just pushed, Synthesize 4.0. And in this newer and updated version, developing a product for a creator has become extremely simple. All you need to do is copy and paste that monetization game plan from Ghostwriter into Synthesize. From this information, it will then synthesize the top 20 product ideas for this creator. You just choose your preferred one, and Synthesize will automatically develop the entire outline for the product. And then the creator can deliver that content live to the people who buy the product, exactly as I'm doing right now. This way, you don't need to waste any time developing the product or creating pre-recorded classes before selling it. So, wouldn't you want to have your hands on the same specialized AI tool that 13,000 other people have already validated with their wallets? Do you understand why this tool is listed at $2,999 a year? And the best part is you are getting unlimited access to it at no extra cost to you when you join Monetize today, because I have preloaded it with $250,000 in credits. Yes, it costs money to run this, a lot of money. As you know, using AI is not free. It can get pretty expensive, especially with the complexity of the tasks that we are doing here. But I don't want you to have to worry about any of these costs at this stage of your business. I just want you to have the most powerful AI tools to make this as possible, as easy as humanly possible for you to succeed. So I'm paying for your first few AI employees here, okay? Isn't that exactly the sort of unfair advantage that you've been searching for to finally make it realistic for you to succeed? Now, at this point, you already have the 14-day story sequence done for you with Ghostwriter OS. You already have access to my entire shadow operating playbook walking you through this entire process. You have your creator product done for you by Synthesize AI. So, what are we missing here back from our 4-step process? What was the most time-consuming thing of this entire flow? It was creating the monetization game plan, the document that makes creators realize that they are sitting on a gold mine and that you are the only one with a map. That is the asset that allows us to approach creators and strike a deal with them that could be worth $10,000, $20,000, or even $50,000 for you. Again, this game plan has 6 parts: the audit, the opportunity, the numbers, product suggestions, launch strategy, tease, and testing sequence. Now, when you do this manually, this will take you about 2 to 3 hours per creator, if I'm being honest with you, okay? So realistically, if you're working a full-time job, it could take you weeks, if not even months, to create enough of these before you close your first deal. But with Monetize, you don't need to worry about any of that, because putting one of these together can now be done in less than 10 minutes. How? Well, as I've shown you, inside Ghostwriter OS, we already have a specialized agent that creates that monetization game plan for you in a single click, okay? Including the exact testing story sequence that you're gonna send to the creators that you are reaching out to. Literally, all you need to do is press generate to get the game plans like these completely done for you without virtually any work on your end. Wouldn't that be incredible? Being able to create unlimited game plans with the click of a button without you having to do any work. That is exactly what you get as a part of Monetize. Now, what's the one step that I've told you that AI simply can't execute for you, okay? The part that requires your judgment, your strategic thinking, okay? I told you at the beginning, AI can't do this for you. I was very honest with you. It's finding the ideal creators. And guys, this is actually the most crucial part of this entire process, because if you select the wrong creators here, everything you do after this it just becomes totally irrelevant, okay? Look, if you don't have the right people to reach out to, they will not respond to your outreach, okay? Or even if they do, they won't have any monetization potential. So it is crucial to your success that you find the right creators here, because it only takes one for you to completely change your entire financial situation with this. And inside the shadow operating playbook, I walk you through the exact step-by-step that you need to follow to find the ideal creators with high monetization potential. That's the exact same step-by-step I used to teach back in my agency programs that got people results like this. Now, You can do this by yourself by simply following the instructions in the program. But let's be honest, wouldn't it be so much easier if me and my team source these creators for you? So that way, you don't even have to go through this process of finding them yourself. Well, that is exactly what I've decided to do. This is not something that we usually have inside of Monetize for people to join. In fact, we've never done anything like this because actually this took a long while to build out. This is a completely new part of the Monetize offer because now this is like a manual service that we actually have to do. And once again, we have to build a whole infrastructure to even make this possible, okay? But for you that have come here today, have dealt with all of the technical difficulties, and there's been more than one, okay, that have dealt with hours and hours of super in-depth training. As I said, I just want to give props to you and give credit where credit is due. You guys are such a smart audience, and I've had, it's been such an honor to be able to share this time with you. You guys are a lot more switched on. I was very, very worried coming in here today and going, oh, you know what, maybe this might be a little too advanced. Like there's such a gold mine at the end of this, but will people stay all the way through? It's a long presentation. So because you've come here, you've done the work, and you've actually showed up here and been here with me in this workshop, I really want to make sure you're taken care of. I want to make sure that you have the lowest risk possible of making any mistakes along this process. So that's why I've decided to do the first step for you. Okay, so there's literally no work needed on your end here. You see, my team and I will manually go through the process of identifying creators with high revenue potential for you. And then we will compile a list of 100 hand-selected unique creators that you are going to get access to when you join. Now, why 100? Because on average, it takes 50 people you reach out to. On average, you're going to close one. How do I know? Because I own a software that tens of thousands of service-based companies, agencies, consultants, and shadow operators use to track their outreach. It's called Flozy. We've had over 504,000 deals closed and paid there to date in the 6 years I've been running it. And I know exactly how many outreach messages it took to close each one of those deals, which on average equates to around 100 contacts per deal, okay? In fact, that's not even a fair comparison because that's the number it would take for someone to close a client where they would be basically going to them and saying, hey, give me thousands of dollars a month. Here, your job is a lot easier, okay? They don't need to pay you anything upfront. So you're able to strike deals and partnerships at a higher rate than that. But once again, let's still say 50, okay? Let's say that you still perform 2 times worse than the average. In that case, it would take you 100 to close one partnership, meaning you would still be able to close your first creator partnership from this Rolodex of pre-vetted creators that I'm giving you. Actually, you know what? Because we're sticking to the theme of one, I'm actually going to make it 111, okay? So some angel numbers for you guys. So I'm going to make it 100%. I'm going to make it 111 for you guys here today. And I'm thinking, do I have to ask the team? No, you know, fuck it. Executive decision. 111 is, okay? So disregard that. It says 100 here. I'm going to give you guys 111, sticking to the theme of one, all right? Now, that is more than enough for you guys to close your first partnership. Now, obviously, I cannot guarantee that you're going to 100% close your first deal from this. Numbers are numbers, okay? But the odds are definitely stacked in your favor here. And those creators will be unique to you. I want to make this very clear. These creators that we source are unique to you. No one else will get the same list as you, okay? This will ensure that you are working on a market of one, a market where you don't have any competition. And by the way, there's more to it. I'm not just going to deliver this list of 100 creators in a PDF file to you. No. This will get delivered to you directly inside of your own Flozy account. If you don't know, Flozy is a software that I co-founded back in my agency days. It is the best alternative in the market for running your shadow operator business. Why? Because Flozy acts like your shadow operator command center, okay? This is where you store your creators, your outreach tracker. It's what we call a CRM, a client relationship management system. So that way you can track exactly in which stage of the process each one of these 100 creators is at when you reach out to them and what are the responses you're getting. Just this feature alone would make your life so much easier. Hence why all serious business owners have a CRM. By the way, just to give you some context, just in December, we paid 30,000 pounds for the CRM that we use at consulting.com. But you're going to have access to this entire Flozy workspace for free with Monetize, okay? We've had over 50,000 users on Flozy, and for you to get access to this would normally cost you $1,068 per year. With these tools, you have everything you need to succeed with this process. Think about it like this. Let's say you want to become a carpenter. You could try to build furniture with a butter knife, okay, instead of a chisel, a rock instead of a hammer, your bare hands instead of a saw. Now, could you technically do it? Maybe. Would it take you 10 times longer and the product is going to be substantially worse? Absolutely. Or you could just get the right tools. And that is why inside Monetize, I give you the right tools. Because listen, this is the very thing that will allow you to get into this business part-time with very low risk without having any previous expertise. Now, I know a lot of you guys would love to have some sort of credentials to actually show these creators. This way, you can have a third-party proof that you are qualified to do the role. And something like that can increase your authority by 10x in the eyes of these people. So I thought to myself, what can I give you to increase your authority to the highest level possible here? So I had this idea. You see, as you already know, I own a company called consulting.com, which is the most successful consulting firm in the digital product and shadow operating space. So I have decided to create a consulting certificate that recognizes you as a consulting.com qualified operator. This way, you can tell creators when you're reaching out to them that you are officially qualified on this method, and that everything you'll implement is based on the methodology taught by the #1 consulting firm in the world when it comes to digital products. Do you see how this instantly positions you as a qualified professional rather than just another person with an idea, and how with this certification, the question of why should I trust you to do this will never be a problem ever again? Like, can you imagine how much easier your conversations become when you can lead with I am a consultant.com certified operator instead of trying to convince them from scratch that you know what you are doing? So look, that is another perk that you get for free inside Monetize as soon as you complete our entire program. Now, to put some fire under your ass and give you an even bigger reason to take action on becoming a shadow operator, I'm giving you a golden ticket to the 3rd edition of our Monetize Mania competition. Here is how it works. Starting tomorrow, we are kicking off a 90-day competition between everyone who joins Monetize. 90 days from now, the 5 individuals who finish at the top will get a complimentary seat at the consulting.com Quantum Mastermind. That is our exclusive mastermind experience that clients pay $25,000 to join. For our last Quantum Mastermind event, we literally booked out the entire wine farm in Cape Town, or at one of the top hotels in the world, just for our consulting.com clients, and we spent 3 days masterminding about online business. So if you finish at the top of the Monetize Mania leaderboard, you will get to sit and spend 3 days together behind closed doors in the same room as people making $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a month from their shadow operating business. You will get to personally network with them and learn their strategies. How insane an opportunity would it be for you to sit in the same room as the top shadow operators in the world today? That is the opportunity you get when you join Monetize today. Finally, I want you to imagine this. You and I are working together side by side, locked in for over 4 weeks straight. How much of an advantage do you think you would have over everyone else? Well, that is exactly what I have for you here. As a special bonus on top of everything inside Monetize, you're going to get the 4-week fast track with me. Over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to personally host 4 live masterclasses, not only walking you through the entire process of going from zero to having your first creator partnership signed, launched, and generating sales using specialized AI, but most importantly, you get the advantage that every single successful person has, which is a coach, okay? You get direct access to me, and that is what the first 888 people who join today are also gonna get. You and I working together side by side, locked in for the next 4 weeks straight. And here's what makes this different. When I introduce new opportunities to market, I don't just make money with it myself. Just look at what happened when I was running my agency programs. I helped create the most success stories of this industry to date. It created waves of success stories. It created entire revolutions in the digital market. The first time I opened Monetize, the people who jumped in earned over 8.9 million in 90 days. One of those users, one a McLaren, another one, Armando, bought his own, and on top of getting a Rolex directly from me as an award for his performance. The second time I opened it up, the people who jumped in earned 15 million in tracked earnings in 90 days. The average earner on Monetize, aka someone who had a digital product launch, they averaged $60,003 in earnings. My question to you is, would $60,000 change your financial situation? Well, this time we are doing it again, okay? But even bigger. And by the way, when we do something like this, we change the whole fabric of the internet. So would you like to be a part of a change like that, to get advantage of the specialized AI before everyone else shows up? Well, this fast track bonus is only for the first 888 people who join today. Look, this is a very hands-on program. I can only coach so many people at the same time. I cannot do this with everyone, and this is not for everyone. You know, some people want to go at their own pace, and they want to go the do-it-yourself approach. Okay, this isn't relevant to them, and that's fine. Okay, but I know that there's at least 888 souls on the line here today that would kill for an opportunity like this. And considering everything you're getting, plus my track record of creating success stories, I'm going to go ahead and open Monetize spots in just a second. So once the number gets close to 888, I will give you a warning, and I'm going to be very clear with you. We might reach it before the end of this call. We might not. I can't predict the future, but I will tell you this. The last time I made this available, the spots expired in less than 8 minutes. Considering the number of people we have here this time, it'll probably go even faster. And if it does, I will let you know. And by the way, the moment it does, we are going to go... we are going to go into the checkout page and we're going to delete it from the checkout page. Okay. So once I give you the URL, if it's still there by the time you check out, that means that you still have it, but you have to hurry up because it might be gone any minute. So finally, let's break down everything you get. First, you get our 4-step system to get your first creator partnership launched and completely done for you with AI. You get Ghostwriter OS, the specialized AI with promptless agents to execute your entire 14-day story sequences and create unlimited monetization game plans for the creators that you reach out to. You get the Shadow Operating Playbook with a step-by-step walkthrough on how to get into this opportunity starting from scratch, as well as the 17 monetization methods that we personally employ at consultant.com. Then you get unlimited access to Synthesize AI, the tool that will develop your digital product for your creator. You get 111, okay? Made the executive decision here. Not 100, but I'm going to give you 111 pre-vetted creators manually sourced for you by myself and my team. And you're going to get all of that loaded inside of your Flowzy account, which will be your command center to run your shadow operating business. You're going to get the consulting certificate that officially recognizes you as a consultant.com certified operator. You're going to get your golden ticket to Monetize Mania, where you can win a seat for our 3-day $25,000 mastermind and get to be in the same room as people making 100, 200, 500,000 a month from their shadow operating business. All backed by our work with you until you 10x your investment guarantee. More about this in just a minute. And you also get to work with me side by side, locked in for a period of 4 weeks with the 4-week fast track. Last time I opened this, monetized users generated $15 million, and our users who actually got a product live averaged $60,000 in earnings. A total price for this package, just on the things you could buy separately, is $8,561. That's just taking everything if you had to buy it separately, not to mention all the other stuff that you couldn't buy, okay? So at $5,000, this is an incredible deal, which is why it is an absolute no-brainer for you to sign up right now at a special price of $1,995. And yes, financing is available. Now, the only question is, are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity and become an AI shadow operator? So here's what happens next. In just a moment, I'm going to drop the link for you to join in the comments. When I drop the link, you have a decision to make. You can either take everything we've talked about today and file it away as interesting information and just go back to what you've always done, or you can take action right now and take the first step to becoming an ungovernable individual in the next 90 days. The choice is yours, but remember, this exact offer with all of these bonuses will never be available again. So if you're ready to finally build an online income using AI without requiring you to put your face out there or have any previous experience, then click on the link that I'm dropping in the live chat in 3, 2, 1, now. In case you can't click it, just go to joiniman.com and it will take you to the same page. You're going to be redirected to a secure checkout page. Choose the payment option that makes the most sense to you, and let's start building and working on closing your one partnership today, because in a few weeks from now, you could be launching your first creator and getting sales while everyone else is still trying to figure out everything out on their own. Now, on top of all of that, I want to offer you an insane guarantee to back this up. This is a better than money guarantee. It is a work with you until you win guarantee. Here's how it works. You don't just get access to all the tools and the systems. You get me and my team committed to working with you until you close your first creator partnership or you make at least a 10x return on investment. Not until you feel ready, not until you understand everything, until you actually land a creator and have a partnership that pays you and pays you well. If it takes 3 months, we're there. If it takes 6 months, we're there. If it takes a year, we are still there. Throughout this entire time, we keep giving you updates, new training, new support, new strategies, more done for you. Exactly like we've done to our current users 3 times last year. And by the way, I just gave you my word for it. Now let me show you my actions, because what I have done for our monetized users, no one else in this industry can ever say they did, okay? Recently, we discovered a new method that gets digital product sales insanely fast. We could have taken that new method and charged it as a $2,000 upsell for our current customers. And I know thousands of them would have taken it. But what did I tell you? I'm not going to charge you for updates until you succeed. So instead, what did I do? I hosted an entire 4-week workshop within the monetized community, breaking down this method during a shit ton of live sessions completely free. And by the way, you can even watch the recordings of this when you join. Every single one of our users who joined Monetize in January 2025, 1 year ago, they got the alpha version of Synthesize for $995. Since then, the software has undergone 2 complete overhauls, okay? We've added dozens of our new features that weren't promised. The 2.0, the 3.0 version, which already made an entirely new software. Now even the 4.0, okay? Now we're at the 4.0 version with all the shadow operating modules, and every single one of our original clients got the 2.0, the 3.0, and the 4.0 versions for free. And by the way, Clients were in awe when they got access to all of this for free, because this is the exact same version listed for $2,999, and they got it all at no extra charge. Okay, Ghostwriter, I have to pay almost $100,000 a month in licensing fees. I pay per seat. The original users of Monetize weren't promised this, yet I still gave it to them all for free. And once again, those were thousands of seats that I had to pay for. Then I created the shadow operating playbook. Okay, was that included in the original offer that we launched? No. I could have easily sold it for $1,500 like I've done tens of thousands of times with my previous programs. So what did I do instead? I gave it to all of our monetized users for free. Then I acquired a company called consulting.com. That is our previous headquarters, our previous office in Manhattan. Now, at the time I acquired it, their flagship program sold for $1,997. Over 20,000 customers had paid them that amount for this program. Over $690 million earned by students, and 52 millionaires created out of it. I paid $1.7 million out of pocket for this intellectual property. Here's the receipt, okay? Before I acquired it, they'd made almost $80 million in sales, okay? Since I acquired it and since I paid $1.7 million for it, do you know how many times I sold this $2,000 program after the acquisition? 0. Instead, I gave it away to all my customers for free. Just a few weeks ago, a few of my pro users had a 90-day consulting package that came to an end. And what did I do? I renewed their package for every single one of them that hadn't made a 10x return on their investment for another 90 days, just to make sure that they are taken care of. And these are just a few of the recent examples. So when I say we work with you until you win, I mean it. And as I always say, what you need is the ability to create money on demand, the skill of turning a creator's audience into dollars in your account. Because once you have that skill, once you've closed that first 25 to 50K partnership, all of your problems disappear. You're not worried about money anymore. You're not stuck in the 9-to-5 grind anymore if you don't want to. You get to make decisions from a place of abundance, not necessity. And that's worth infinitely more than $1,995. That is why the guarantee isn't get your money back if it doesn't work. The guarantee is we work with you until it does, period. It's simple. You have to close your first creator partnership and 10x your investment, or we keep working with you until you do. Because remember, with this business, you only need to get this right once. All it takes is one partnership to completely change your entire life situation to achieve what I call your turning point. You see, from everything I've accomplished so far, what I am the proudest of is helping thousands of people start their online business and throughout that, achieve their turning point. That is the point in time where their income from their online business surpasses their main income stream and covers all of their living expenses. Usually, whenever someone buys one of my digital products, they are in one of two situations, okay? They are either working a job or studying somewhere where they have little to no prospect of financial growth. They know that's not what they want to be doing, but they are stuck at that job or at college or uni with the responsibilities that stop them from simply quitting. Or they're already working very well-paid jobs, sometimes self-employed or small business owners. You know, they're making great money, but they simply can't enjoy the fruits of their labor, I should say, as they wish, because their work takes all of their time and they are stuck to that physical location. The point here is this. In both circumstances, they feel as if someone else is in control of their lives. They feel trapped in a life controlled by others while watching their true potential slip away. And this turning point I mentioned is such a pivotal moment for them, because when they achieve that, that is the moment they get to reclaim ownership of their lives. It is the moment they get to choose what they will do now. If they're going to fire their boss, if they're going to quit, if they're going to fire their boss, quit university, stop having to respond to someone else. They get to decide because they are now the ones in control. And there's nothing more liberating than experiencing this transformation in your own life. I experienced that myself when I was able to quit school and look my mom in the eyes and tell her, don't worry, I got you. And I truly believe that in 2026, the best and the fastest way to achieve your turning point is by becoming a shadow operator. The last time I opened this offer, I helped thousands of regular everyday people achieve their turning point. And now I'm ready to do that again and create a legion of shadow operators. So are you willing to join me on this mission to become a shadow operator and join me in building this legion of successful individuals who will achieve their turning points? So really, you only have two options. Either you succeed and close your first creator partnership, or we keep working with you until you do. The only way to lose is by not giving it a try. And in addition to that, your investment is also protected with a 7-day full refund policy, meaning if for any reason you don't like what you get inside Monetize, you have 7 days to get 100% of your money back. All you need to do is email support and Monetize and ask for a refund, and it will get processed with no questions asked within 48 hours. With this, I am literally taking all the risk of our deal here on me. I couldn't possibly be taking on any more risk on my side. You don't have any risk on your side here today. And by the way, Just a heads up, if you have any issues checking out, our team is going to reach out to you within 5 minutes using the contact information that you put on the checkout page. So please keep an eye out on your WhatsApp or SMS for that. So that way you are guaranteed to get your first creator partnership and 10x your investment, or we will keep working with you until you do, which means the only way this investment doesn't pay off is if you don't take action. And by the way, just a heads up, if finances are tight for you right now, get this. We have the best third-party financing for you that the market has ever seen. Why? To make this accessible to anyone who is serious about changing their situation. And because we process everything through WAP, which I'm a co-owner of, this gives us data that most people simply don't have. We are able to offer financing plans that literally no one else can. We are talking about breaking this down into manageable payments that anyone can afford. You can check the financing options in the checkout page or the link pinned in the live comments or at joiniman.com. Guys, I could keep going on forever here, but we are over time already, and we have Jason who is here to start going through some of the Q&As. Plus, if we have time, we have some very, very special guests who might join, as I said, if time allows after this main session. So I just want to leave you with one last message here. Closing a single creator partnership is all you need to get to decide what you work, where you work from, when you work, or even if you want to work in the first place. To no longer stress about money, to reclaim ownership of your life and be the one dictating the shots again. You are only one partnership away from the life that you have always dreamed of. And with that being said, now it is time for our Q&A. Mr. Jason Fladlin.
Yo,
Thank you so much for joining us.
you are most welcome. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being here with us. And what I would like to do, Iman, before we go any further, is I just want to have everybody do a nice reset with me. We've been through a lot over the last, it's almost been 3 hours now. VIP, shout out to you. You've been hanging in there for 4 hours. Success is only like an hour and a half, and then you become a millionaire, right? So, 4 hours, we call that rookie stuff. We call that warm up where I'm from. But